I'm Rezlar.
I'm Frosty.
As nobody's really engaged quite yet.
Yep. Oh, there we have a bit of. Oh, was that a triple stun for the Mystic?
And welcome back to the Value Pack. And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Value Pack. Yeah, I got nothing. Let's jump right into it. Our guest today, Jeffythewise from Reddit. Thanks for joining us, Jeffy.
Hello, hello.
Now, for people who may not know who you are, what you do, just kind of give a brief introduction of yourself and how long you've been playing the game, you know, what class you play, what you enjoy doing, that sort of stuff.
So I'm a witch in Barcode. I was originally playing a wizard in Man Up, starting way back at launch. I'm a life skiller, I'm a streamer, and I'm really into large-scale PvP. So Node Wars and Sieges, that's my jam.
You don't like 1v1s on your witch?
No, in general, I don't enjoy open world PvP or 1v1s. I don't think the rule set in BDO really facilitates for good content there.
I'm kind of curious with you. So you were in Man Up, like, how long were you in Man Up? From like the beginning of Man Up days when the servers merged?
Not quite the beginning, but around the Medaya expansion, I went from my friends guild of people who thought they would enjoy BDO to let's actually join a PvP guild. So I was in Man Up before Node Wars started, and I was there for the whole Gatekeeper memes and good times back then.
Okay, and then Man Up got gutted by the entire server, and you switched over to Barcode immediately. And how did that go? How was that transition?
Not exactly how I remember it, but I did enjoy transitioning from a late stage Man Up, who was really trying to avoid PvP, into Barcode, which was on its way back from death and felt more like an up and coming siege guild. They were in Serendia at the time.
You tried out a bunch of different guilds, though, right?
Yeah, I think I tried.
Like, I think I remember you being in
guilds.
like Hee XD and like a couple other guilds. I think you were in Corrupt.
Victorious, Bassy, Corrupt. Yeah, I tried them all, but I really clicked with the Barcode people. And so after a month or two of War Heroing before War Heroes was a thing, I asked the Barcode guys if I could join, and they said, yeah.
So kind of recently in Barcode, I just found this out the other day. Kinetic transferred GM to Kai, the Shadow GM.
No.
Is that true?
We moved the red border, yes. It wasn't really much of a change. The operations were already being mostly handled by officers. It's just Kinetic doesn't have the time to push all of the GM exclusive buttons that Kai does. So it'll be easier for us to do CTG plays and follow the shot caller around.
I've never been in Barcode, but I always heard from people that were in Barcode that Kai basically like runs everything. I always wondered why he wasn't GM, if that's true.
Kai's the main shot caller, which is very different from running everything. Of course, he's involved in officer decisions. We've got a pretty big officer core, and we do spread the load out a lot. But everyone thinks it's Kai doing everything because he's the most vocal publicly.
Fair enough.
So Kai does basically nothing. All right, so
being lead shot caller is a big deal, and Kai does it really well.
Yeah, no, I like his shot calling actually. The most I really watched of it was the I was in Black Rose when we did the I guess Code Black versus Chotex when we won, and you guys CTG'd on top of Vertex like right in that last moment, which was the most perfect timed CTG of all time, because we had just like pulled Vertex out completely out of their base, and then Barcode CTG's in, and I was like, oh shit. But yeah, I went back and watched from Barcode's point of view, and it was actually my first time hearing Kai's shot calling, but I like his shot calling a lot. He's like somewhere in the middle. He's not like screaming, but he's not like Vudani.
He's having fun, is what it is.
Yeah. So is Kinetic like taking a step back in any way from the game, or does he still play, or was he even super active, or what's doing that?
No, Kinetic's play's not changing at all. It's just he picked up a new job a couple months back, and he hasn't been able to make Node Wars really.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been seeing him mostly on the weekends only. So moving the tag over makes it easier for us to Node War.
Right. Okay. Is Barcode a life skill guild for the most part?
Relative to other siege guilds, Barcode is very strong in life skilling.
Yeah.
We're
We actually
expecting
have
that
quite a
answer,
few.
were you, Frosty?
No, well, I guess kind of though, to be honest. To some extent, like I actually see Barcode way less than I see other guilds at Secrea or Histria or Starzin.
You
I don't
are
know if
not
there's-
looking hard enough.
Not looking hard. I'm on Arsha or one of the Velia channels usually, so
Yeah,
there's
dude,
not that.
Barcode's a life skilling guild like Vexus is a sea monster hunting guild.
Well, I mean, Barcode's Sea Monster Hunting Guild too, though, right?
Yeah, we
You guys
still
have a
do
lot of
500 mil payouts. We've got 750 mil tier 10s if people really want to deal with the nerf.
Yeah. What is the nerf? I mean, how is it? Do you see Monster Hunt? I was told by Cairo.
Yep.
Is it still like worth? Is it more worth than grinding to see Monster Hunt still to at least like make the quota?
I think for the 500 mil payout, it really depends on your setup for sea monster hunting compared to your setup for grinding. But up to that 500 mil payout, you can get really good value. I can pull in maybe 300 mil worth of sea monster loot on a loot scroll. And if we get 2/3 of that back, that means 2 hours of sea monster hunting for me gets me a 500 mil payout. That's really good. If I try to go past that, it'd take me another 3 hours to bump that up to a 750 mil payout. That's really pretty bad.
Right. All right. So in your opinion, because I know like every time sea monster hunting got nerfed, people that did it regularly were pretty upset. I know I've seen like the debates on Reddit a bunch of times where it's like, well, this is the only other content from grinding, so why are they nerfing content? In your opinion, were the sea monster changes good for the game ultimately, or should it be buffed?
But they were completely necessary. I mean, I was sea monster hunting with the 4 bill payouts, swapping guilds, picking up another 3 bill payout, buying cron stones from the blacksmith, and just going crazy with it. And because sea monster hunting was so good, it really invalidated a lot of the other ways to play the game in terms of progression. And so that's when I stopped life skilling, was October of last year, when the chest event for Caphras and then sea monster hunting got real big, and life skilling just didn't seem to matter compared to that. And so I think they've nerfed sea monster hunting maybe 4 or 5 times, and they finally got it to a pretty good spot, in my opinion. The 500 mil limit is really appropriate. Problem is, with the ocean content update that Korea recently got, they just break it, and it becomes not worth doing at all.
With the sea monster that they just got?
Yes.
What's the change?
We have to shoot it with cannons, you can't charge, and the wind system is pretty annoying to deal with.
And it also makes it so you can get personal loot. Is that true? Like
yes, the
guild?
Nidens got changed to personal loot, so you don't kill candies or 9 sharks anymore, but apparently in Korea you can still hunt the pirate boats, the Goldmont battleship, and that still drops the guild loot. It's a mess, and it's unfortunate because some people do enjoy sea monster hunting, and I feel like as long as it's well balanced, there's no reason to remove it. But all of the nerfs we've had up to this point in NA were completely necessary.
Gotcha. So having to hit it with cannons, like, and they don't compensate in any way by making it like more value. So it just takes way longer now if you have to kill with cannons. You just can't ram shit anymore, like at all.
Your boat dies if you charge.
Oh,
like it
shit.
damages
Okay.
yourself.
Right.
They release a couple new boats with way more cannons, and it's actually pretty fun to shoot the cannons while piloting. Just from what I've been able to research, it's the numbers aren't there. Takes
Right.
too long to kill something. Can't stay out as long anymore. More
Got
fun,
it.
but less rewarding.
So that brings me to life skilling. So, well, the interim is like you guys were sea monster hunting like full time, like a lot of people were, right? Basically, that would be all you would do. And then once the nerfs kind of happened and you couldn't just swap guilds and take fat payouts, and they added all the taxes, then overall in-game grinding just became king, right? Because now everyone has loot scrolls, everyone's super efficient at Histria and Secrea and Star's End and so on. So for the better part of the last like 10 months, you just grind, right? That's the most efficient way to play.
Grinding with loot scrolls, Arsha Castle buff has always been the best. I mean,
Right.
since they reined in sea monster hunting. And I think our server has a very strong grinding economy, which is fun to contrast with EU. In EU, it's much more a life skilling economy. And you'll see that differences in their enhancing material prices, their overall wealth.
Interesting. Wait, so why would that be? Like what I guess what are some of the indicators of the grind? Like their prices of accessories and stuff are higher there?
Lower actually. It's the general macroeconomics. Grinding, even though you do get accessories, it's mostly silver generation from the trash loot.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas life skilling is mostly item generation. So if you have an economy with more silver in it, like we do, everything's going to be a bit more pricey. That's why we still have max price enhancing material. Whereas in EU, the hards and sharps are maybe half price. They've sold way more Kafirs than us. And it's just really different. They've got pen accessories sitting all the time. People don't have the silver to buy them.
Those fools. We actually have a lot of pen accessories sitting as of recently, I've noticed.
I think EU had
have
3 pen ogres yesterday.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
crazy. I think
it's
we
a
have,
different
oh, no,
world.
we don't. We had a pen Baltara.
So basically, what you're
yesterday.
saying is NA is just a bunch of fucking apes that grind for 20 hours a day.
Apes and whales. We also pay to win considerably more, which does have some effect.
And then Lifeskill Mastery came out, and I was listening to you on Fake Uniforms podcast and just kind of trolling the forums and stuff and watching kind of people's reaction. But some of the numbers people are saying are insane for how much you can make per hour. So in your opinion, if you invest, obviously there's an investment, there's a huge investment, especially Manos. But if you invest, I guess the general question would be, is life skilling worth investing into if you actually enjoy life skilling now, whereas for the last year it wasn't?
Absolutely. Mastery is a huge shift, and we finally have life skill gear progression, which is a big deal. And when you really think about top-end grinding and everything that goes into getting 269 AP with a Kudum, if you put that level of effort towards life skilling, it would be very competitive, with the exception of grinding with a loot scroll and with a castle or Arsha buff is almost always going to beat life skilling, with some rare exceptions.
So is this true though, even like 2-3 months from now? Because for example, like blood and all the basic items you get from life skilling are dropping so much in price just because so many more people are doing it. Is that going to negatively affect it, or is it still going to be valuable because of the Kaffir stone, like all the other stuff, the sharps and hards you get?
You're right that it is going to crash, but there are some limits in place. Like Kafirs can't get cheaper than 2 mil, because then people will start force enhancing pen boss armor. So there, and the hards and sharps, people will always need those to enhance for profit. So yes, life skilling is going to get a little bit weaker with too much saturation, but I think it's still going to remain viable. Maybe not better, but close enough that if it's what you enjoy, you don't have to feel bad about it. You don't have to feel like it's slowing down your progression.
So let's say if you're someone like Rezlar who still doesn't know what Lifeskill Mastery means. What is like, I know you've been asked this question a million times, I'm sure, but what is the most basic? I started the game. I just got to like soft cap gear. I don't really enjoy grinding. I want to start life skilling and actually invest into it. What's kind of like the basic steps to get started?
Read my guide. This question gets asked all the time, and I've tried to lay it out as concisely as possible. But the basic premise of mastery is every life skill scales with its own mastery in a different way. The most basic to understand is going to be gathering, where as you get more gathering mastery, you gather more stuff. And as you enhance your gathering gear, you're going to start to profit a lot more from that gathering. And so I tell everyone, start gathering near Velia, start with the green gear at Logia Farm, and just enhance it yourself. Don't worry too much about buying it, and try to see if the money you've put into enhancing is worth what you're getting back. And if you feel like you're going to keep going, then start thinking about tearing up to the blue gear or to the Manos gear if you're really into it.
Yeah, the blue gear is significantly more expensive, right? Or is it
Compared
actually
to the
not that
green?
bad?
So
Yeah.
It differs. Armor, accessories, and tools, it's really different. I like to say my favorite gear, and the gear I'd recommend to the average life skiller, would be green accessories, blue armor, and Manos tool. And that's just because the way you enhance them, because you can cron your tools using fail stacks, by the way, makes it easier to go straight to Manos on the tool, whereas the armor and the accessories are much more punishing.
Right. So the blue armor. All right. I'm going to actually copy that. So, man, I don't know. I guess try accessories is an okay place to start. Because I know you had mentioned that there's like a 650 life skill mastery breakpoint where it starts getting really good or being better than magic tools in a sense or whatever. I don't know exactly the mechanics on that, so you can elaborate on that, but also like what like level of enhancement do I need of that setup you just said to get past that point where it's actually pretty good, 650 or 700?
So one thing I like about Lifeskill Mastery is, in general, very few of them have these magic breakpoints, and more is always better. So you talked about the gathering breakpoint. For gathering specifically, 650 mastery is when you start using the new tool. That's because it overcomes the passive stats on magic tools once you hit 650, which is pretty easy with green gear, a little bit of leveling. The only other life skill with magical breakpoint numbers is hunting, where at 550 hunting becomes decent, and at 900 mastery hunting is actually good. Outside of that, every life skill, whatever mastery you're at is fine. 50 more is better.
Got it. And then leveling up your actual life skill level on a thing, gathering, hunting, whatever, makes a pretty significant difference, I presume, as well. So I'm just going to use myself as an example. I'm Artisan 5. Ever since it came out, I've been gathering just blood because I guess that's a really easy way to get the stone, so I could just keep doing more enhancing for a while. So my question is, what's kind of a good way to level up? Because since it's come out, I probably used not that much because I still grind a lot, but I probably used somewhere like 1,500 to 2,000 energy. And I don't even think I've gotten a single level. I haven't even gone to like Artisan 6. Is blood just bad for leveling, or where's a good place to like level up gathering?
I'm gonna keep plugging my guide because there's a very clear table there that says blood is the worst gathering XP in the game. You're not wrong.
Good job, Frosty. You played yourself.
Well,
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I need
Blood
the
has
stones
value because
still,
you need
though.
the stones. Yeah, it's a good place to
Right.
start for enhancing your accessories. But if you switch over to using a hoe and gather wild herbs, you're actually going to get 10 times as much experience as gathering blood. So it's finding that balancing act of you gather blood to get your accessories upgraded, and then you go gather herbs to get your life skill level up. Because one of my favorite things about Mastery is life skill levels really matter. And certain life skills like gathering, processing, cooking, alchemy, where you can really get up into the gurus, you get a ton of mastery from that. And that has value now. And once you get to a point where you feel like you can't enhance your gear any further, because it suddenly gets really expensive when you look at Manos gear, leveling up your life skill is the path for progression.
Right. Well, am I doing it out of order, or should I get the green stuff up to try first?
It's a balancing act.
Because all right, so I have I have 2 try accessories. I also we probably got to talk about. I have a tinfoil that the enhancement rates are fucking lie. Because I'll get into that in a second. But I have 4 duo accessories, couple try, and then I have pry green gear and a duo tool. But it only puts me up to 450. So if I go from artisan 5 to master 10, is that gonna push me up to 650 or a lot closer to it, or do I need to get way more gear first?
Well, you get 5 points per level, so you can kind of calculate from there.
Okay, that's not that bad, because getting from artisan to master is not that crazy, right? If you're actually in the right place and using buffs.
It's very quick.
Okay. Enhancement rates. All right, so I swear, I've been keeping track a little bit, and on average, for me to get duo, I have to do about 12 to 13 attempts, somewhere in between. But it says 40%, and I'm just my mind is blown how awful the success rate is. When I do normal gold accessories, duo is relatively easy. I'm getting so screwed on the ones that are the fixed rates, the fixed enhancement rates on the accessories and shit. Did you have better luck? I saw you enhancing your Manos shit the other day when it first came out, but yeah, how's your enhancement luck been?
As usual, I am RNG carried. I got very lucky on Manos Day with my Tet Manos gathering armor and my Tri Manos accessories. I was feeling really good. I got all of that. And then the other night, I failed Pen Manos Ho 20 times. So now I'm kind of averaged out.
What was your stack for the Ho?
200.
Oh my god.
I dumped 11 bill worth of Cronstones on a 200 stack on a Pen Ho. Because when you think about life skilling, this is a best in slot weapon. This is how you get the most experience. And if life skilling is your main mode of play, you cron for Pen on a big stack, and you go for the best in slot items.
Right. So you're actually doing the Ho, the Pen Ho, to try to get more experience, or is there decent money making methods you can get with the Ho as well, or not at all?
I've been decently satisfied with the money from herbs, but it's primarily for XP. It's all about getting that Guru 20 500 mastery buff.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I saw you. Didn't you also on Logia Day get a pen fluid collector?
I got the server first pen fluid collector. It took me 30 attempts, and then everyone after me got it in 5 or 6 swings. It's fine. I used that fluid collector for 3 weeks straight, gathering 8,000 black gems, and it was worth it.
Right. Do you still have it?
Yeah.
Or are you selling it?
No, I'm keeping it. It's got my name on it.
Right. Okay. So I woke up that morning. I usually I wake up, I download the patch, I set up my fishing or whatever, clear out my inventory, and then I go to work. And it was only 45 minutes or maybe an hour after the patch came out. And I saw that I didn't recognize the name because I don't think it was on a character that I'd recognize your name.
It's my siege character. It's on my witch alt.
Yeah, so it was succeeded a pen, and I was like, oh shit, that's crazy. And someone was like, that's Jeffy. I was like, what the fuck? It's not even been an hour, dude. Oh my god. Yeah, that's crazy. 8,000 gems? Do you sell them now, or do you still need them?
Need is a
Have you
strong
actually
word.
gone?
Right now I'm deciding. I'm branching out a little bit. I'm using my black gems to try out different life skills. Right now I'm working on alchemy clothes, but in the future I will need thousands of black gems for Tet Manos accessories. That's going to be a thing in the future.
Right. So, man, the accessories are rough too, because so you get it to try, but if it blows up, you literally have to craft it again.
So life skill accessories, they enhance very differently from normal accessories. Instead of smashing two accessories together, you take an accessory and put black gems onto it. And it doesn't use fail stacks. So there's no way you can change your chances. It's just craft the base accessory and start throwing gems at it until it explodes and start over. And the net effect is it makes life skill Manos accessories about an entire tier more difficult than PvP accessories. So a Tet Manos ring is about as difficult as a Pen Crescent.
Fuck. Yeah, and then to craft it, do you still have to use magical shards and stuff, correct?
Yep.
So eventually, because I was kind of surprised that when Manos came out, there was still. I mean, I realized everyone was probably stockpiling all their magic crystals. It was like halfway through the day, there's just a huge abundance of them, and the price spiked up for a second, and then it's been dropping. But now they're kind of running out, and it like dawned on me that if people are doing this, they're gonna have to keep using however many crystals to keep making the shit that blows up when they're doing their accessories. I just don't know how many people are actually doing accessories because the barrier to entry seems so hard.
The BMC market was interesting, and I invested quite a bit into this. I've been sitting on 10,000 BMCs for over a year now, expecting the price to go up with Manos. But what I didn't account for is the 3 weeks of Lifeskill Mastery we had, combined with all of the events we've been having, really drained the server of any silver they could have used to spend on BMCs. Most people are just broke right now.
Yeah.
Combined with getting green first, green is really good enough for most people, and I do recommend it.
All right, so when you're gathering just for money, what are some numbers you've been getting? Like some silver per hour, I guess. And also, how do you calculate it? Are you factoring in, I guess if you're gathering blood or logs or whatever, you're factoring in everything? And then do you also calculate like the use of armor stones to make the black gems into the usable gems? Like what's kind of your process for that, and how much are you averaging, I guess, when you're actually just going for money?
When I calculate gathering profit, I like to separate into 3 categories. I do the enhancing material separate because it's easier to compare that to different forms of gathering. And I have the main gathered material, whether that's herbs or blood or ore. And I like to value that at marketplace value, because if you go on and do something with that blood, now you're talking about alchemy profits. You're not talking about the gathering anymore. And then the third category, which is really important, is the energy used, because some types of gathering use a lot more energy. But I'm out here with full Tri-Manos accessories, close to Guru Gathering, and a Tet Armor, Tet Tool. So I'm sitting pretty 1,500 mastery, 1,400 rather. And my recent numbers are around 750 from base material, plus 150 from enhancing material, minus 45 from energy. So depending how you look at it, it's in the neighborhood of 200 mil an hour.
That's pretty crazy. But I guess like you have to. Do you do you have multiple characters with gear, or you're just doing it all on one character?
You have to do it on one character because gathering level is so important. And keep in mind, I've dumped probably 20, 30 bill into my life skilling gear.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's with that investment, I feel like I'm on par with a mystic that doesn't have a loot scroll. Something.
Yeah, well, 200 mil an hour without a loot scroll? I got to see your rotation at Scry.
Just punching fish, man.
Yeah, dude.
Get an accessory
Oh,
drop,
man.
you're done.
Yeah. Man, I think a lot of people are, at least I am. I just want an alternative way to get Kaffir stones, and I know gathering like logs and stuff can be a really good way to get Kaffir stones. I just don't know, is it realistic to actually like be like, I guess the amount of Kaffir stones you'd get from gathering once your life skill mastery is like relatively high, maybe in the thousands, like even low thousands or 900 or something like that. Is it a significant amount of Kaffir stones that you're actually getting that if you're trying to go for C9 armor, you can do it like by yourself? Or would I just be better off grinding? Like if I run out of loot scrolls, this is kind of more my thinking, because obviously with a loot scroll, you're going to make a ton of money. But I don't like to just use all my loot scrolls right off the bat, just because I actually do run out and I don't want to buy more. And I don't really have a means to buy more. So for me, would I be better off just gathering logs and shit to get Kaffir stones versus grinding and buying them?
It's really a philosophy difference. There is something satisfying about farming, grinding out your own progression, getting your own stones. I think 1,000 gathering mastery is a reasonable end game goal. It's going to require, some mix of green, blue, and Manos, mostly at Tri and Tet, and a little bit of leveling. But if you're logging, which is the best Kaffris, 1,000 mastery, you can expect maybe 30 an hour. So you're going to be logging for hundreds of hours, but you could C9 your own pens. Yeah.
You hear that, Rez? You gonna start gathering?
No, I don't have any pins.
I mean, you can also force enchant a pen with just 200 hours of gathering.
Oh my god, dude. 200 hours of gathering?
Well, that's probably what it takes to grind out the maths to go for pen.
You guys trying to make me quit this game? What exactly is going on here?
The big point of Lifeskill Mastery is it's not so good that everyone needs to do it, but it's good enough that players who enjoy lifeskilling can use it to progress at a competitive pace. That's really nice.
Right. Plus you have like, you have the progression. I was thinking about it this way because I always found it funny. We had this guy in my guild a while back, Panman, that it took him like, this is a long time ago, like early on in the game, but it took him like a year and a half to get to level 60 because he just didn't grind. And all he did was cook. But his progression was gear for grinding. You know what I mean? Like, whereas now you kind of you can just invest that all into Manos and not, like, it was such a weird, I don't know. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you would be grind or doing life skill stuff because it's the only thing you actually enjoyed, but your checkpoints and progression to show how much you've made and how far you've come in the game was only PvP and PvE gear, even though those aspects of the game were completely irrelevant to him. So I think it's kind of cool that Manos now has that, like, oh, well, I'm full Tet Manos with like a pen Manos hoe or whatever as a means of showing how much or how far you've come versus like I have to use it on PvP gear that I don't even use. I mean, it would be the equivalent of like if I grind all the time and I'm just enhancing Manos gear even though I don't life skill ever. That's just how, like, see how geared I am because I grind a lot. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I don't know, that little self-satisfaction or reward you guys have from life skilling now. It's kind of good. Probably motivate more people to life skill. Do you have to fight for your? Is it like? I'm trying to think. Like, if you go to whatever the efficient places are to gather, are you running into a lot more people now that it's like spots are contested?
The most popular spot is the wild herbs at Bear because everyone's leveling up their gathering. They're playing catch up, but people have been pretty nice about it. Like, how much energy you have left? Okay, I'll take it when you're done. Or swapping channels. So I definitely see more players out there life skilling, but life skilling is so spread out throughout the world that it's not like we're competing for spots.
Right. As far as like buffs for life skilling, so I get asked this question a lot. Do loot scrolls affect gathering? Do Kama blessings affect gathering? Arsha. So I'm sure it's all in your guide, or if it's not, you should add it. But what buffs do affect life skilling, if any, and what buffs don't?
Almost nothing affects it. The Kama blessing is really nice for the energy return. If you're using energy on gathering or hunting, that extra 2 per tick is invaluable. The only buffs that really affect it are the Kron food gives you more mastery now. Your life stone gives you better gathering drops, and everything else is XP. Just XP
Right.
and energy.
So no Arsha, no castle, no can like the 20%
No,
drop
that's
from the
all
Kama
of that is
loot.
monster
That's-
drop. That's
is
item
monster
drop rate. Yeah, it's very separate.
Right. I knew this. People argue with me about it all the time. I don't know why.
People say BDO is not a pay-to-win game. At some point, you just have to let them have their opinion and move on with your life.
Yeah. Rez, you got any life skill questions?
Yeah, so I did have one actually. The only life skill I do, because it's the most unlife skill of all the life skills, is fishing. Do I need to give a shit about Lifeskill Mastery when it comes to fishing? Am I losing money by not doing this shit?
So every life skill is divided into active, semi-active, or AFK. And so you're choosing the AFK fishing, which is very good right now. Fishing does scale slightly with mastery. You want to get a fishing chair from doing your junk turn-ins and getting some level of accessories, maybe just try greens, something basic, will give you a higher chance of that jackpot prize fish, and it's going to give you more relics overnight. So fishing mastery, it's pretty minor in the scaling, but it's nice to wake up to 3 fish worth 26 mil each,
So it does the Lifeskill Mastery thing and all the gear, it does affect your chances of getting that prize fish?
Yes.
Okay.
What are good places to AFK life? Or AFK?
For all fishing questions, you really want to read a guide by Moonraker on the forums.
Okay.
But in
I thought
general,
you were going to say Jeff.
Yeah, he's gonna.
My guide does
have a
link
guide
to
on that.
Moonrakers. No,
Okay.
I've got links to all of this in my document. But Moonraker is the fishing god. He got the server first Ghost Whale, which is 100 mil harpoon loot. Right now, you want to fish for relics. So Ross Sea, Magoria Sea, Camasylvia Freshwater, Dregan, all pretty good spots. I think the Velia hotspot is okay, and Heidel is very bad. Everyone's going to do whatever's most convenient for them with fishing.
All right.
See, I was fishing in Grana because that's where I just ended up being for my AFK Fisher, and I just sat there for like a year. And whenever the prize fish stuff came out, I went like 2 weeks without getting a single prize fish. I was like, what the fuck? Can you even get this shit here? I don't know, like, what's up with that? Maybe I was just getting unlucky,
Well,
but...
Grana got nerfed to the ground. You want to fish literally anywhere else in Camasylvia that's not Grana.
Okay.
And with low mastery, you've got a very low chance of pulling that prize fish. So maybe getting a little bit more gear is going to help you see that fish maybe every other day.
Well, see, I decided because I was like, well, nobody fishes here anymore. I noticed it. I saw like nobody fish there anymore. And I was like, and I'm not getting this fish that other people are talking about, this prize fish thing. So I moved to the Velia hotspot and like instantly was starting to get like 1-2 prize fish every like couple nights. I was like, okay, now I'm seeing it.
Yeah, the thing with the Velia ones, though, I mean, I don't know if there's higher ones than the 1 and the 2 mil versions, but that's all I was getting there. So I kind of
that's all I was getting as well.
I do get one Yeah, I get one like every night almost now, but I'm like my fishing mastery is like 770 or something like that. But I get like I don't know. I want like a 25 mil fish. That sounds awesome. Those higher ones too. They're not trade items, are they? The 25 mil and up.
The harpooning ones are
Aren't they
vendor
just-
loot. All of the everything from rod fishing is a trade item with a timer. And Moonraker goes into this in more detail, but different fishing locations have different prize fish with different drop chances. So Velia, you've got a really good chance of getting the cheaper prize fish, but on the ocean, you've got a low chance of getting the really good one.
Right.
So you said Dragon is pretty good right now?
From what I've heard.
For relic.
Interesting. See,
yeah, I know. Part
Keep
of
in
the
mind, at the end of the day, AFK life skilling is dwarfed by active play. You know, your entire overnight is usually worth maybe 30 minutes to an hour of active play. So
right.
just do what's convenient. Don't stress yourself out.
So I have my fishing is mastery 27, which is apparently 385 points. Because I don't have any of the gear or shit, so.
Yeah, Rezlar's trying to basically make silver and get his gear to full pen while AFK and playing classic WoW.
Pretty much.
It's not gonna work. It's
classic WoW, Borderlands 3, recently started playing more Rainbow Six Siege. Yeah, pretty much anything except BDO.
Yeah. Standard. Is the sniping thing anything? I don't know. It sounds like the coolest life skill. Yeah, it sounds like the coolest thing, but I have a feeling it's not worth shit. But is it valuable? Is it worth investing into? Or
Sniper mode is a variation of hunting where you use a new rifle and you hunt a specific mob with a really interesting mini game where you actually scope in and headshot it. Unfortunately, there's only one sniper mob in the game, and it's just garbage compared to regular hunting. So it's one of those, it's fun, but it's not rewarding, with the hope that they eventually release more sniper mobs in the future, because the only mob right now is a deer in Balanos, pretty clearly a starter zone. Just have to wait and see.
Right. Is it like in like a is it like a beta test or something? Like, why is there only one? How long was it in Korea before we got mastery?
Sniping's been out for several months. I'm not sure if it's been quite a year, but close to that. It's just very slow development, and the dev team gets distracted by other features. Seems right now they're all focused on the ocean update.
Yeah. What about with the mastery? Did the Locky Arrow thing change at all? Is that better now?
Unaffected.
Oh, it's completely unaffected? Is it good though? I know some people do it. I know some people in Black Rose were doing it.
Fun but not rewarding. It's a very punishing mini game. If you make a single mistake, you lose 50 to 70% of your reward. But if you can quickly navigate this mini game, which is similar to Minesweeper, it tops out around 50 to 100 mil an hour.
See, Rose, that sounds fun. Play Minesweeper for 50 mil an hour.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Man, I always think because Manosho adds Lifeskill Mastery, obviously. Well, did it just not have the Lifeskill Mastery stat on it before that came out? Was that
as
text
soon as we got the
item?
mastery patch with the green gear, the Manos Ho had mastery on it. So some people went straight to leveling their gathering using the Manos tool.
I think that's so weird. The fact that we had that thing for like a year without Lifeskill Mastery is hilarious to me. All right, I'm gonna go to some of these guest questions real quick. I think a couple of them were good. One sec. Let's see here. All right. Q says, as far as life skilling goes, you're always a huge help. Your hour gathering numbers I see in Guild are pretty impressive. Since you make a bunch of life skill resources, any thoughts on doing a average silver, bloods, or any other specific gathering per hour comparison at different mastery points, maybe with collabing other life skillers? Also, why does your guide confuse beginners? Wink. And someone named KYU, who I think is in Barcodes, Tamer and Barcode.
Yeah, Q's a barcode tamer. Cool guy. You got to understand, any data I gather is a very small sample size. And as usual, people mostly report when they have a really lucky hour. The actual averages are a bit lower than anyone's going to tell you. And there are some life skill discords. Specifically, I'm thinking of one called Lifeskill Chat. They have a whole channel called Gathering Screenshots. And perhaps someone could go through there and compile it into a huge spreadsheet, because if you're talking about different types of gathering at different masteries, averaging out the per hour for each mastery, it's going to start to get really complicated. It would take a lot of data there. It's just a big project that I'm not personally going to take on, because for the most part, I'm just life skilling for my own progression and for helping other people understand what to do without feeling the urgent need to exactly quantify how good it is.
And then he said, why does your guide confuse beginners? What is that about? Does it confuse beginners?
It's a bit of an inside joke. I did have someone come to me, a very new to life skills person who didn't understand some of the basics of like, how do you cook? Where do you buy some of these materials? And that's always a trade-off I had to make in my guide, because I tried to keep it concise. I had to assume the reader had a pretty decent basic understanding of life skilling. To help mitigate that, I've had links to some of the more beginner guides. Orlin has very beginner-friendly YouTube videos. Dolphy has very thorough guides. I was just trying to keep it short, and part of that meant it's not going to be as readable for beginners, but I'm always here to answer questions.
Best Pater says, if you're a person who doesn't leave their computer on overnight, doesn't have the Pearl Shop weight or outfits, and doesn't have a life skill past Art 4, is there anything with the new gear that could convince someone to use their energy to gather and see a profit? It doesn't sound like an easy question to answer, so good luck.
It's always a personal preference, and it would take some investment. And gathering's an active skill. It doesn't, if you're set up for it properly, if you have a container near bear, just run there and deposit your loot every 15 minutes. There are ways to make it decent, but it's always going to compare to, well, what is your normal mode of progression? What are we comparing it to? If we're comparing it to 50 mil an hour at Miramok, yeah, life skilling can be really good. Of course, if you don't pay to win, just don't worry about the overnight stuff. Don't worry about the AFK stuff. It's nothing compared to active play. But if you do actively life skill, you can start from nothing and get pretty decent returns with maybe a week or two of progression.
Just as a follow-up to that, to the AFK thing, or well, it's kind of separate entirely, but what AFK activity do you do generally?
Fishing during events, processing otherwise. Try to process something light overnight.
Yeah, but with the new mastery though, isn't like don't all your materials get used up relatively quickly?
I think you underestimate my amount of material.
I probably do. So the normal person probably runs out,
Yeah.
but you do not. Okay, got it.
No, for most people,
right.
I recommend fishing. I used to really like training. Unfortunately, training didn't see much benefit from mastery compared to the new prize fish. And definitely during fishing events, everyone wants to fish.
Right. Plus that new riding crop is pretty cool though. The Manos one. Just having the base one.
Everyone in the game,
AFK speed's so
everyone
nice.
in the game should get a Manos riding crop. Don't enhance it. Just put it on and auto path everywhere. It's glorious.
Yeah, it's so nice. Have you gotten one, Rez?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, so the riding crop you make, you just make it or whatever. It gives training mastery, whatever, yada yada. It's for horse training, but it increases your max mount speed by 20%. So if you're running without using any skills, it increases that. Like no skills, no sprint, no drift, no instant excel. Doesn't affect any of that stuff. And then its max auto run speed, so your auto pathing on a horse is increased by 50%. And it's like a massive difference.
Well, I imagine 50%. Jesus.
Yeah, and it takes about, I don't know, 25 to 50 mil to make. And it's just permanent. You just put it on, you just always have it forever on your character. Anyway, get one, Rose. God damn it, dude. So inefficient. How you gonna make any
Why
money in
would
this
I
game?
bother?
Because, dude, you AFK all the time. All right. Lost Soul says, how can I make money from farming and not the 20 mil I make from selling seeds every 2 days? Yeah.
Wait for
It's a pretty
farming
basic-
mastery. It's just farming wasn't changed.
Farming wasn't changed. So I guess maybe just in the sense of as a life skiller, how do you make money farming? Is farming still good?
You have
Farming's
to
always been
process
decent.
everything, right?
Well, there's a few different ways you can farm. You can breed everything, sell the seeds, sell the stone tail fodder, and use the fruits for alchemy. Or you can harvest some of the material for either cooking or alchemy stones. There's a couple of different ways to profit from farming. And it's always been pretty decent. The thing is, you have to compare it to putting that many contribution points towards worker nodes. And if you've got low contribution, worker nodes are probably going to be better until you get up into the 350, 400 contribution range. Especially with mastery, really increase the value of base material. People are buying timber at silly prices.
Origami says, any advice on which life skills to focus if you play casually? I tend to focus purely on grinding and only AFK fish for money. I think based on what you said before, just do that.
Yeah, well, it comes down to playstyle, right? I separate life skilling into the three categories, either active, semi-active, or AFK. And for most people, all they care about is AFK, so that's fishing or training. Some people, if you want something active to do that's not grinding, I always recommend gathering. Hunting can be fun, but typically gathering is going to be way better. And then everything else is somewhere in the middle of if you really want to get into life skills, start doing some of the semi-active stuff and figure out ways to make it fit your lifestyle. Maybe you're home, but you can't really sit down. You do some processing every 15 minutes. You do some cooking. It really comes down to how you want to play.
Right. Pew Pop Pew says, does Jeffy make guides because he gets tired of answering the same questions over and over? Is that why you make guides? Because you're tired of answering questions?
I just make guides because I'm a good person. Is that believable?
Yes.
No.
Yes, it is. I believe it.
No, it's
Dude.
I enjoy being part of the community, and this is my way to, stay connected, promote my stream, promote myself and my guild. Just in general, promote life skilling and help people who otherwise would think BDO is a shit game. There's nothing to do. I'm tired of grinding. I'm gonna quit.
Right. Speaking of promoting your guild, are you guys recruiting?
Yes, Barcode is recruiting. We are looking for a token warrior, some DP shies, and a couple more god tier tamers.
Token warrior.
Yes, we used to have one warrior, and he has since left us. Work got in the way. We are trying to fill our quota of one warrior.
Yeah. If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about the state of warrior in large scale, I don't know what does.
Shy Player says, if it's not too late, ask him about his opinions on sea monster hunting. So we kind of went into that earlier, but I guess if you have just an overall opinion on sea monster hunting, what would that be?
It's finally balanced, thank God.
Until it gets nerfed by the new updates. Q says, what is better, Penho or Pen Crescent?
After last night, I have the Pen Crescent. I don't have the Penho, so I'm gonna say the Penho is better. Crescent's not even a best in slot item, you know. Ruins Ring, Tongue Red. We're talking about a Pen Red Nose Ring.
Oh, don't call it that. You're gonna make so many people upset with that.
What? Cassie, they're red nose accessories. Like,
dude, you're gonna make so many people that like to flaunt their pen accessories and chat really upset by calling them red nose accessories.
Nothing wrong with flaunting a pen red nose accessory.
Dude, I can hear Caleb T typing up a message in World Chat right now.
Does he have Pen Crescent?
I think so. Pretty sure I've seen him flaunt that shit in World Chat before.
What was his old guild? He was always promoting
M903.
Fuck. M903 wins again. Dude. Look at that. They're not around anymore, are they?
I don't know. Check.
Before I get into, I want to talk about a couple other things, but one last question about the siege scene. So two things, and if you don't feel comfortable answering, that means you're probably a baby. So, first question. Who is stronger, Snake or Black Rose? Your opinion, Jeffy. Jeffy.
He's like, I'm gonna choose my words tough, very carefully here.
It's tough because Snake is assumed stronger, and you kind of have to see an upset to change minds. Like, we haven't had really even fights between the two. Possibly because Snake is afraid they would lose their title. Possibly because they just don't give a shit. Oh. I think Black Rose is ahead of Snake in terms of effort and objective play. And I just think Snake has the gear. So I think it would be a really close matchup, but I'm always going to put my money on Black Rose.
All right.
Jeffythewise says the only reason Snake can win is because they're a bunch of geared apes. Confirmed.
I don't think they even deny
No, I don't think they do either.
In general, Snake isn't that focused on Siege PvP. Yes, they've got some of the strongest players, but they really focus more on small scale and open world. They just don't care much for the NA Siege scene, which is okay. I mean, that's their prerogative.
As they sit on Valencia Castle at this very moment.
They 2v1'd Barcode for that, just so you know. They brought an ally to push Barcode out of a castle. I would have loved to 1v1 them, but
Barcode's stronger than Snake?
So, well, all right, so if Snake and Black Rose are 1A, 1B, possibly interchangeable, how is Cho comparable? Because I thought for a long time that Cho and Black Rose were pretty close, but as Black Rose kind of, I guess, where's Cho and Barcode?
Nobody knows relative to each other. We can't find them. They're muted in the podcast. They don't really drop anywhere other than a 30-man node for Calpheon with a bunch of allies. So we don't know, but I would say Cho Nation's a lot closer to Barcode.
Right. Yeah, they still have, like, it's so weird. When I was watching, when they had that, like, 4v3 a couple weeks ago, I was watching from Sasha's point of view, and it was like sometimes Black Rose would run over Cho's ball, and then sometimes Cho's ball would just completely crush Black Rose. So it was weird.
Jeff,
they're like placed, I don't know.
You guys might have to pick a fight with Cho Nation. Their description of their guild says that they're the biggest life skill guild in the game.
Cho Nation is not available for a fight. We have tried to pick it. Really tried.
What are they just not like 1v1ing?
That's
that
it
their thing?
exactly.
Okay. Does anyone like 1v1ing? Because I think like Black Rose likes to 1v1, but if they're in the castle.
It's a literally
Seems like they don't.
Barcode and Black Rose like to 1v1. And so we just fight each other, and we've done that fight to death. And it's like, can we please fight someone else now?
Yeah. So after you guys, for the longest time, like Vexus was kind of clear number 6, but now it's like, or 5 or whatever. After the big 4, we'll just call Barcode, Cho, Black Rose, and Snake the big 4. After that, Vexus was sitting pretty for I don't know what, the last 6 months to a year, and now like Vexus, Vertex, and Manup are all kind of there. Which one of those goes
Bassy
stronger?
and Corrupt. I think there's a huge, once you get out of the top 4, there's a really good competitive scene between all of the other Siege guilds. And I could not clearly put one of them at number 5.
Yeah, I know that one's hard for me. Although I think Corrupt right now might be stronger than Bassy, but I don't think Corrupt's stronger than Manup or Vertex or Vexus. Personally,
Depends how much you look at Node Wars. Just this week, Bassy beat Vexus, but Corrupt stalemated Vexus. Corrupt stalemated Barcode too, though. So
yeah.
But
I guess I'm thinking
volatile.
more. Yeah, they're volatile, and they also are like it's a different amount of people that go, and I just mean on Siege, I guess. Yeah, what happened, dude? Black Rose, or not Black Rose, Barcode and Corrupt 2v1 to Hex the other day. I didn't get to show up. I got home from work late, and I heard about it, and I was like, "What? There's no way."
So,
what happened?
Yeah, that was Thursday's supposed to be Barcode's off night, and we go out, we try to merc, but then we don't find a spot to merc, and we look for a fight anyways. So we kind of showed up with a bit of a small roster, and without our main shot caller, or our backup shot caller, or our other backup shot caller. So I was shot calling, and it was pretty rocky.
Oh, yeah.
Not gonna lie, and we had fun.
Yeah. I heard Infernal almost killed you guys. Is that true?
No. No, in general, like Node Wars is fun for me. That's why I'm happy to be in a guild that does Node War every single day. And it really upsets me to see a lot of these 100-man top Siege guilds not enjoying Node Wars, choosing to participate in tier 2 30-mans because, 2/3 of their guild doesn't even want to show up on any given day.
Right.
It's just
that's
sad
the thing.
to see. It's a race to the bottom. And when the top players are racing to the bottom tier of content, then the new players kind of don't know where to start. And one of my side projects is, this is how bored I was waiting for Manos. I leveled up a second account, and I got a soft cap witch into art. So I can really experience from that perspective, which is very different. I went from being gear carried witch to absolutely zero gear witch. And it gives you a different perspective on the newer guilds trying to get into Siege, trying to get into Node Wars, and the really upsetting things I was seeing in like Balanos and Serendia. There are many guilds like Relapse, like Pariah, guilds that have a decent Node War core, and they dip their toe into Siege, have a really bad experience, and we never see them again. A lot of people are trying to figure out, why does it feel like the NA Siege scene is dying? If you look at EU, it's completely dead. And it's because the war mechanics combined with how the player base is treating them is really squashing fun competition or new guilds popping up. And a lot of people just don't want to try it. They don't want to put themselves out there because they've got members who go like 1 and 20 during an hour-long siege. They just sat at a respawn timer for 30 minutes. That's not very fun for them.
Do you have any ideas on if you could change something that would help remedy that? What would you change?
I think some of the restrictions that were applied to tier 1 Node Wars need to be applied to tier 2s. and some better incentives need to be in place for participating in node wars, participating in sieges, even if you don't win. Right now, if you go to a siege on Saturday, you either get the castle or you get nothing. So hopefully you had enough fun that getting nothing was worth it. But for many guilds, there's all the politics is around like, we'll fight, but we also want to get the castle every now and then. And we need to kind of some sort of participation reward, not just to get people sniping, because that needs to be fixed as well. I think if you have less than 10 people yes up to a node war, your fort should just get deleted. Lots of little tweaks to the rule set combined with a huge mental shift from the community is what the siege scene needs.
Rezlar has this idea, and I'm not totally against it, which is rare for us, where T2, if you place on a T2 and you win, if you win a T2, that you shouldn't be able to place on a T3 or a T4 for that week, similar to how T1 kind of works. And vice versa, if you own a T3 or a T4, you can't place on a T2. That would kind of move, because the argument a lot of high-end guilds make, and I 100% see where they're coming from, is that they place on T3s and T4s, and there's only snipe guilds there. There's no fights. But if all of the guilds that want fights that siege, because if you look at like Saturday siege on any given day, the amount of people on all 5 territories combined, there's kind of a lot of guilds. So if all of those guilds were forced to place on T3 and T4 every day, you think that would help a little bit with that? So that way the newer guilds can fight amongst themselves on T2, but all the other guilds that quote unquote want fights are forced to T3 or T4?
That would help, and Barcode is definitely one of the last siege guilds to try and make 100 Man's work, and no one's there. The entire community's given up on them. It comes down to numbers. If you look at Saturday, you talk about how many strong siege guilds are placing Saturday, it's usually around 10. They get over to Node Wars, 5 guilds are locked up in regions, and they can't come. There's 2 tier 4s, and I don't know how many tier 300s. I think it's 2 or 3 as well. It's just the chances of people lining up and landing on the same node together are very slim when you've got guilds that don't war every single day of the week, because that's pretty unreasonable. For a while, they were talking about, or the company was talking about, removing the Medaya region and really shaking things up. They've since given up on that line of thought. But I thought that would be a really good fix. Just by reducing the number of nodes would help concentrate the competition. Yeah. But your idea of restricting siege guilds to 3s and 4s would also help.
Yeah. Right. Like, it's just, I don't know. It just makes sense to me. I've been preaching this idea for quite a while now. But it's like, they were so close with what they had in Korea a long time ago, where you could only move up and you couldn't move down, basically. And you needed a tier 3 or a tier 4 to place on siege, which I think is still in the game, if I'm correct. Yeah, they kept that part.
You need a tier 2 for siege.
They didn't keep the... Oh, really? Only tier 2?
No. You do need to win a tier 3 for siege. You can't... Yeah, you can't place unless you own a T3 or a T4.
Yeah, that's 100%. What I thought it was.
It used to be tier 2, but they changed it like, I want to say like 7 or 8 months ago. Remember when they were doing like the Node War reworks every week for like 2 months?
Yeah, then they just gave up.
It was like during that time.
Yeah. So it's like, dude, like they were so close, I think. They were on to something. And like, I don't know. Like I said in the community Discord, because somebody was talking about how they think that would kill the siege scene. It's like, dude, the siege scene is already being killed. Like, what do you mean? And it's also killing the T2 scene. So I would rather them try to figure it out, get some shit wrong, and say, okay, well, we'll try something else now, than just let it slowly fall into this fucking pit of despair for all the players. Like, it's fucking miserable, dude.
There's a lot of frustration. At the end of the day, the best large-scale node wars, or sieges, it doesn't matter how geared you are, what guild you're in, what size it is. The best wars are the ones where it's close enough between the different sides that are fighting, each individual feels like they can make a contribution. Each guild feels like they have a chance, and the servers aren't shit. So it takes a combination of a lot of different things to make the fights enjoyable. And as much as people complain about politics and scripting, we're so close to the Siege scene being dead that it's a few core political members in each of these Siege guilds that are going out of their way to set up a fight because they think it'll be fun. And as much as we hate scripted fights and we wish it was just organic, the rule set and the population doesn't facilitate organic fights anymore. And we almost rely on scripting. Like, scripting a good fight is better than nothing.
Yeah.
I just wish there was more participation.
Yeah, the incentive is not there. I mean, all right, so even if you're the like Hex, for example, I'll just use Hex as an example. Let's say, because we're like pretty. Yeah, Hex last week, right? Well, that was rough. But the last last
why
week
it was
is a good
rough.
example. Yeah, it was rough because we're 2v1 against. So, all right, I think, I don't know all of the politics, but if we placed on like Balanos, we're going to get 4v1 because they already have a deal. If we place on Serendia, it's going to be like a 3v1 because they already have a deal. So our only option is like, well, we can go with Art, and both of us are still at the very bottom of like Siege, right? So we can 1v1 against probably any of the guilds on Serendia and Balanos, and that would be a good fight, win or lose. It would be a really good fight, but if you just get 3v1, you're done. But the thing that's so disheartening about what happened last week on like Medaya, where we're just ramming our faces into the castle against Vexus for an hour, or if we just get 3v1'd on another territory, is that the members can only take so much of that before they're like, I just want to be in Barcode where we win. I don't want to build this anymore. It's exhausting. It's not fun to lose every week, and I'm out. You know what I mean? So it's really hard to build up and get people interested in going when you basically have to like just get destroyed pretty regularly. I don't know. It's like a weird thing because I have no idea what, like, at least for Siege scene, it's hard because, I mean, there's not even like the reward on when we won Balanos a couple weeks ago. We got 8.9 bill. Like, that's not even Node War pay.
And then you got locked out from a week of Node Wars.
Yeah.
Nobody wants Balanos.
Nobody wants Balanos. It's rough. But you want it because the fight can be cool. Like, ideally, like, that's the thing. The most fun I've ever had in PvP in this game is like really good sieges. That Code Black versus Vertex Cho, for example, that was like an hour on Valencia. That one was so much fun. That was like one of the most, like, that was a ton of fun. Or anytime it's back and forth or it lasts a really long time, it's a ton of fun. But the repercussions for newer guilds, if you don't win, is like really harsh because members just get exhausted, they get frustrated, they start turning on each other. It's, yeah, I don't know.
Well, that's the most difficult part about
our name is Clash.
Right. The most difficult part about a Siege guild, specifically a new Siege guild, is you need to accept the fact that you usually lose. Even the top end Siege guilds, we win a castle once every 5 or 6 weeks, once a month maybe. You are usually going to lose. You are usually not getting rewarded. So you have to find a way to enjoy the fight, enjoy the loss, and like see how long you can last.
But see, that's
something
the
we do
thing,
in Barcode.
though.
It's called
like
turtle code. We turtle up and we just try and last as long as we can out of spite. Like, we know Black Rose is going to beat us. Let's farm them in the throne room for an hour just to say we did it. And
but see, that's the difference between like Barcode losing and Clash losing. Like, Barcode losing, like you can have fun, it's still relatively competitive. Whereas Clash losing, we just have Barcode sitting outside our base for 20 minutes, and we literally can't clear half of their ball. There's nothing fun, there's nothing to enjoy in that. It's just us getting our cheeks clapped for 20 minutes as they stand outside our base and Blizzard and Meteor in, pushing in as soon as they have PA. Like,
are you talking about that Balanos siege?
I am. Fuck you guys.
Yeah, okay. First, I want to apologize for that. Second, I want to throw Art under the bus. That that week we didn't have a lot of options, so we organized this Balanos fight, and we gave Art very specific instructions. I think I sent a PM to their officer saying, "Zerg me daddy." So our assumption was everyone in Balanos would team up to fight the Siege Guild that shouldn't be there. What actually happened is we opened up on Clash. We kept asking our defense lead, "When do we have to come back? Why is nobody attacking us? What's going on?" And it's like, you were only supposed to be fighting a small portion of our guild. We were supposed to be dealing with the entire rest of the server, but Art did some Pepega nonsense and ended up 40 chess match winning the region. So there's that.
At one point, our GM got messaged by somebody, I don't remember who, in Barcode, saying, "Where is everybody else?" And we're like, "We don't know, dude. We're just trying to live here." That shit was fucking miserable, dude. And like that was like, I'm obviously like Clash isn't dead. We still are at 50 members. We're still doing node wars. We're still enjoying things. Like we're having our own fun. But in terms of our feelings towards Siege, that just about killed it right there. Like after that Siege, literally no one in the guild wanted to do Siege again. Because why would we? It's like the 2 sieges we had done previously, there wasn't even a fight. And it was like we got Serendia. We got Serendia for
like
free,
everything in
and we got
BDO,
Balanos
it's a
for
chance of a good fight.
Yeah,
maybe you get a good
this
fight, maybe you get nothing, and maybe you get stomped out. Like it can go either way, but if you stop attempting it, you're just retiring, you know?
Yeah,
well,
but
I understand. I respect.
We can have more fun by retiring. We've had more fun just fucking around on T1s in these last 2 weeks than I honestly think we've had since I joined this fucking guild. Like legitimately, through Siege, through T2s, through sniping on T4s, which was actually pretty fun as well. T400 mans. Listen, if you're a T2 guild and you're tired of dead drops and Siege guilds murdering you in 30 minutes, go on T400 man. It's actually so much fun. There's nothing but other guilds like you there because they're all trying to avoid getting clapped by Siege guilds. So where are Siege guilds avoiding? Tier 4s. Why? Because there's no fights there. So ironically, it becomes this weird thing where Siege guilds that should be on T4s are on T2s, and T2 guilds are racing on T4s with other T2 guilds. It's fucking weird, but it's like ironically kind of hilariously fun. But even compared to that, T1s are so much more fun. Like, honestly, we're having more fun on T1s than on any other node. At least I am, and I think, generally speaking, the whole guild is.
That's a failure of the higher tier Siege rule set and community. And, like, I feel you. I know the T2 30-mans are nonsense. And I know the T400 mans are nonsense. And then everything in between, kind of a crapshoot. Sometimes it's good.
I'm gonna ask this question, your opinion on this, and I can't think of a wording that doesn't make me sound like a crybaby, but do you think that castle sieges are too hard? Like it's too hard for one guild to win against another guild in a castle siege? Like specifically Medaya, Valencia?
Nope. I think 1v1 castle fights are great if you've got 2 equally matched guilds. The attacking guild needs to be really solid on their objective play. It really comes down to having a good door team, a good engage, a good cannon team, good elephant coordination. So I think 1v1 castle fights are very interesting if you've got the proper opponents.
So what about, I guess I'll use this one as an example, but if Black Rose and Snake both placed on Balanos, like that fight would be really competitive and cool for everyone to watch. But when they were both on Medaya and Black Rose was in there, Snake literally just sat at the gate and got slaughtered for 2 hours and then lost. So
right, because Snake cannons are shit. They couldn't hit a stationary object. That's 100% what it was. Divios is an evasion striker god. He lowered the gate like 15 to 30 times. And all you have to do is hit the gate with 20 cannonballs and you win. And I was spectating that fight off to the side. I was getting cannoned.
Well, you deserve
So
it. Why
like
were you on the
Black
front?
Rose has a really strong castle defense team, especially for Medaya Castle,
Mhm.
where Zerkers are so strong. And Snake being mostly witch wizards trying to push into that, you don't win a castle gate by pushing into it. You win it with cannons, and their objective teams was just not there that night. But I'd say that's in favor of 1v1 castle fights are great. You know, that shows a weakness in their
Right.
guild and where they need to step it up. I think since then they've overcome that, and I think if they had a repeat of that 1v1, they might do really well.
Right. Okay. And what about compare like the three castles? Like you think because Valencia is a little bit easier than Medaya, I think, because the way the terrain is set up. But Medaya feels, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but Medaya feels like absurdly difficult.
Medaya is the most defensible castle. A lot of people forget that because we don't see a lot of defenses there. People think it's Valencia because Valencia does have a lot of good holds. Medaya is the most defensible castle, especially that final choke point, pushing up into the tent room. And if you kill the second gate on Medaya, the attackers gain nothing. The second gate respawn is completely irrelevant. Then
Right.
Calpheon's a joke. Calpheon, like, there's no, the only way to defend Calpheon is to like push out and kill the other guild at their fort, because it's defending Calpheon is that bad. It is a free shot for Pegasus, free shot for cannons. The gates are made of paper. Like it's just, Calpheon Castle, man. You can
I
still
was
have
also
fun
gonna mention.
fights.
I was also going to mention, by the way, something that definitely would have helped, like Hex and also TBO back when we had like siege ambitions or whatever, is like 80-man nodes. Why does it jump from 60 to 100? I don't quite understand that.
I'm with that too, or 75, like something in between 60 and 100 would be really nice, because on a siege day, it's you can rally around and promote the siege for a whole week and pull 90 people, but on a node war day, it's a lot harder, even for Black Rose and Barcode. Like, I mean, I can't speak for Barcode, but like Black Rose, whenever we were node warring, we'd have between 65 and 75 people. Like, it would be really nice if there were 75-man nodes that like helped with that jump between like some bridge.
Yeah,
Well,
so
you're
like,
assuming there's something wrong bringing 75 people to a 100-man node.
Well, no, except
if
that
everyone else is in the same situation, it's fine. It's just there's no one on the 100-mans.
I mean, true, but I think that that's part of like, I don't know. I think it's part of the reason why some people don't place on 100-mans is because they can only pull 65 or 70. So like they still have people that are missing out on node war that can't come. But on 100-man, you run up against, I don't know, whoever. If someone brings 100 people, then now you're 25
well, I
people
know
down.
for a fact there were several nodes while we were in Hex where we were like just over 60. Like we were at like 65, maybe just under 70. So we were like, okay, we're gonna place on a 100-man, and then we go up against a guild who's pulling like 75 to 80. Specifically,
You
I
guys
remember
have never done no strats where you have people specifically no up just to troll. Oh my god, we've had so much. We've had a Kinetic show up late to a war when he's got
Pretend
the
to
red
CTG.
border, the GM tag.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't yesed up. He was just red border jumping into people's bases to completely mindfuck them, or he was zipping around as a distraction. We had a tamer that wasn't yesed up, jumping into Black Rose's ball, and it would trigger Sasha every time because he thinks, tamer's coming, my entire guild's gonna die. This tamer wasn't even yesed up. But there's, even if you're a little bit over the cap, you can still have fun with it. There's value in having a scout, and you just have to appreciate those members.
Yeah. All right. So I'm curious your thoughts on merking. Should you be allowed to merc if you own a castle or a territory?
Oh my god, yes.
I'm trying to think of the negatives, right? Because it used to be like, well, then all of Black Rose would just join a guild and win every day,
And
but
participate,
there's
right?
limits now.
So the old
And
system,
participate, but-
what used to happen is Man-Up would sit in a castle for a year and then spend 5 days or 3 or 4 days a week in an alt guild feeding nodes to their allies, which propped up an entire alliance of like a dozen guilds that would all help Man-Up sit AFK in their castle. That has its downsides, of course. But at the end of the day, what that system involved was more participation. There were more people going, and there were guilds like Barcode who would specifically go for Man-Up's node and try to kill their ally so Man-Up can't feed it.
Mhm.
And it created content, and I think at the end of the day, people don't go to Balanos because winning Balanos is not rewarding. It locks you out of a week of content. It's very boring, especially for a lot of guilds that enjoy the node wars more than the siege. Winning a siege also means you lose access to the fun stuff, and because of the apprentice system, you don't want to give up 2 weeks of payout swapping guilds anymore. It all around sucks and stifles the node war scene to lock up 5 guilds, and it prevents guilds from wanting to win on Saturdays who would otherwise show up just for fun.
Yeah,
Right. I also think because you're so limited now, like even on a T4, you can only have 10
Yeah,
mercs.
that's what I
on
was about to
T3,
say.
it's 5. So there's like no reason not to allow it, in my
I
opinion.
could see like without the caps it being like a worry, but now that you literally can't fit entire guilds into other guilds using the merc system, I just don't see exactly what the harm of it is, honestly. It's kind of strange that it's still like that.
Well, you want to know
Because
the
it used to be
actual
like-
reason?
Yeah.
The actual reason, it's not intentional, it's not a design choice. It's a technical limitation due to programmers at Pearl Abyss being bad at their jobs. When you win a castle, you get a tent in the castle, period. When your guild has a fort or a tent down, you can't war hero out. And it's just like that limitation. They didn't make an exception for it, and for whatever reason, it completely screws us on the gameplay side of things.
Right.
But because
I
owning
mean,
a castle
God, that-
gives you a tent full time, you technically
That-
can't merc out.
Right. That fix is so simple too. Like, just let you build square forts even if you own a tank. Because like,
Or let you war
because that's the
hero
other thing too,
out,
right?
You know,
Yeah,
because
and let you war
there's so
hero
many
out, 'cause-
guilds where your guild is sniping a node tonight, but you want to go war hero for a guild that's looking for a fight, but your timing is off. So you log in and the snipe fort is already placed. Now you can't get out.
Mhm.
The entire limitation is bad.
Which,
No,
what's the
I
reasoning
agree.
behind that? That doesn't make much sense to me either. Like, why was that ever implemented in the first place? That you can't war hero when your fort is placed?
Dude, when I first heard about the war hero thing, when it was like explained, I think a lot of people too were so excited, like, holy shit, this is gonna make. I mean, man, if you were allowed to war hero out, I think so many more guilds would place on territories just to see what happens.
Overall, the
'Cause
war
there's no
hero system's
repercussion,
kind
right?
of fun, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you fight
Yeah.
what you would assume to be a weaker guild. And you're like, hold up, watch out for those purple borders. They've got Cho mercs. They got snake mercs in there. It's you kind of get the Dynasty Warrior feel if you have a champion that really makes a difference. Or you can use the war hero to trial out new recruits, something we do a lot. Maybe you have a more social player that can't make it on Saturdays but wants to join you for node wars every now and then.
Yeah,
Pluses and
that would be
minuses,
nice.
but it comes down to a poorly designed rule set and a fairly irresponsible community.
I also wish, just in general, maybe you disagree, but I wish every tier node just paid more, and even the lower territories. Like tier one's res, correct me if I'm wrong, pay 200 mil, right?
Let me ask. I don't pay attention to that stuff.
And 200 mil is, I don't think that's anything. That's no money.
Well, there's also no difference between the different size nodes. like a tier 400 man,
Yeah.
Which that's stupid.
and a tier 4
Yeah.
30 man. It's the same. For example.
Yeah, increasing the pay on all those would be really cool. I mean, I think if
If a 100-man node paid twice as much as a 50-man node, like that would make people want to have 100 people in their guild. Maybe you'd see Clash merge into a half-full Siege guild and hop back into the scene.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know a number, but like if a tier 400 man paid like 5 billion silver, I think they would be way more competitive and guilds would actually want to play.
Noah says 300
And then
mil.
nobody would want a Saturday castle because you get more money.
Well,
So it's
yeah, that would be the thing. So you'd have to allow merking. It would be the only way.
So apparently,
But yeah, a Saturday castle would also need
apparently
to get buffed.
T1s
Yeah,
are
so it's
300 to
mil.
400 mil. That's what they're saying.
Okay. Which is just a crazy, like that's so little.
Yeah,
money.
it's really nothing.
I mean, I guess if you have only 50 people in your guild, it's something, but.
Well, what's funny is we're kind of in a weird situation because we're not taking nodes because we're about to pass GM to a alt account that all of the officers can use. Because you want to know why? Our GM wants to merc and he can't.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Why can't GMs merc? Kai's not gonna be able to merc anymore. Jeffy, is that bother?
Kai is leveling up an alt account so he can merc.
Like that is so awful that you'd even have to do that. GMs can't merc. It's so dumb.
So like we have a group that mercs like every Saturday, literally every time, and they usually go. There's usually like 2, maybe sometimes 3 guilds that they go to. They try and stick together for the most part, like as much as they can. And our GM wants to go with them, but he can't because fuck GMs, I guess. So he's like, you know what? I want to have fun. I'm tired of this shit. I'm gonna make it happen.
Yeah. In large scale, Jeffy, what are the? You guys are super tamer heavy, right? Like you guys have a few tamers.
The fact that we have tamers makes us super tamer heavy. But yes, go on.
Well,
I mean,
what
how
are your
many
thoughts?
flame towers do you have? You can't have that many.
Well, no, the tamer alts are
tamers
crazy.
have
You guys
top
actually
fragged
have
and
like
barcode for about 2 years straight.
I don't know. I'm just fucking around.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like a weird because I'm kind of curious your opinion on that. What are the strongest classes for Siege? Like
Witch, Wizard,
Zerker. Witch, Wizard, Zerker. Okay. And
really,
Zerker kind of
Witch
is
and
why.
Zerker, if I'm being honest. Yeah. Wizard has had a rough time lately. The PAs are nice, but I'd still overall Siege viability. It's Witch and Zerker. Tamers have that nice ult, but not a whole lot else. Wizards have PA, and their main hand is great, but you might as well be a witch.
What about Archer?
Glass cannons are nice until they break. I mean, have you ever hit an archer? They evaporate.
Well, usually
it's
struggle
one of
to
those
catch
where archers do very well in the ranged engagements or defending a castle. It's one of the best classes. But all around, Witch and Zerker, they just perform well at everything in Siege.
So nerf tamers. I mean, here I feel bad for tamers because being an alt bot,
it's kind of like fun. Your entire party is constantly feeding rage to you, and the whole guild cheers when you drop a 10 kill on Snake. Like it's fun.
And then when you get tamer ulted, oh, the fun. I'm having so much fun right now.
Well, you say that, but if you talk to tamers, they while they know that they recognize the ult is really powerful and it is fun to ult, but they still, I think if you could trade, if a tamer had the choice of trading their ult to just be all around better in large scale, they would do it.
Yeah.
I don't think you've met our tamers. We've got a tamer that's full Tungrat accessories specifically because his combo is consume high lang, jump in there, ult a bunch of people, V, then ult a bunch of people again. and he's gotten it off a few times with the double Tamer ult, getting like 5 to 10 kills each time. It's really cool to see in chat.
All right, what about Doomhorse? Is Doomhorse too strong?
I've heard that the scaling is broken in tier 1s. I don't know if they addressed that, maybe.
Yeah, dude,
But-
dude, it is. Dude, Doom horses do so much damage in tier 1s. It's retarded.
It's a scaling issue. I think at the higher tier, Doom is really well balanced. It's not that great for actual fighting, but it is very good at countering cannons, which I think is a really interesting meta. They just need to... The problem at tier 1s, I think, is when they AP capped all of your damage abilities, they didn't AP cap the Doom. So someone with really high main hand AP is going to scale up their Doom damage, even though their normal abilities are capped. So the Doom will be one-shotting people with capped DP.
Also, I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about this or not. This may be a trade secret, but I don't know how long we're going to be on T1s anyway, so fuck you, T1 guilds. Apparently, we were told that the percentages from hitting the brackets still apply on T1s. That's what we were told.
Like the 20% DR?
Correct, yes.
Yeah. They
Makes
do.
sense.
Which is like, wait, what? Like, so you still get benefit out of just being a gear monkey in T1s.
Yeah. Well, because it's a flat damage reduction rate, right? Like after the fact. So, yeah. I mean, it kind of makes sense. But then you have to like, I know like the build, like Blade and Arrow. Someone from Blade and Arrow was telling me that they'll try to build their DP like way up to hit the brackets while still being at the cap for AP if they can. But
yeah, then you just build human damage.
Yep, does human damage.
I mean, the tier 1 rule set it's more interesting.
It is. All right, your thoughts on PA?
As a witch wizard, we've been asking them to remove PA for so freaking long. It's such a dumb skill.
Would they have to put something in its place, do you think?
They could just change the skill to be like a 30% damage reduction buff instead of a 999 DP buff, and that would fix everything. The fact that so many large scale guilds, it's like, okay, pop PA, go in. They popped PA. Okay, pop our second PA. Okay, they popped their second PA. Okay, pop the third PA. All right, their PA's fallen. Here's all the kills. We win. Like, it's a super dumb meta.
It is rough.
Yeah, until your third group of PAers just randomly didn't happen to get PA, so now they're all dead. It's like, I hate it. I hate everything about it. And like here's the thing, I didn't really have a lot of like evidence to suggest that like removing PA would be better for the game, and then I did T1 Node Wars, and it's so much better for the game.
But it's not.
That's the main.
Yeah, but the rules are different. Yeah, but you're not. Yeah, but you're not just removing PA. You're also hard limiting how much damage everyone can do.
I'm well aware, and that's why I've always said remove PA, make people tankier in Siege. Like, I think just overall making people tankier in Siege would be the way to do it. Make it to where people don't get like one comboed in Siege, and it actually takes like, you know, people can actually fight in large scale. I know that's a weird thing to say, but allow people to actually fight and like make meaningful decisions. Because right now it's basically just you wait for PA to go away.
Part of that opinion is a result of the NA ape community going for pen weapons before pen armor. Prioritizing defensive stats is actually really fun, and hitting 346 DP is so enjoyable.
Yeah, no one wants to admit it, but it's like everyone goes for 285, 289 AP, right? And in their heads, they're like, well, I'm just going to kill people faster. It's going to be good. It's like, sure, but if you are 269, 346, you're actually probably going to do way better than the guy who's 285, 301 in a Node War or a Siege. But yeah, you're right. No one prioritizes DP, and part of it is because the incentive in PvE is not there. You don't make more money if you have higher DP outside of, I guess, Secrea for some classes, but some classes don't even need it there either.
Tamer.
I think Tamer still needs some DP.
Well, I mean,
and
finally,
spray.
we can progress through Lifeskill Mastery. Maybe that means people don't feel so pressured to push AP because they're not worried about their grind efficiency. But I mean,
Yeah.
NA is full of apes. Who am I kidding here? You can
Well,
stack
are
AP.
you? Do you think Kafris are gonna sit at a cheaper price?
I think they'll be between
No,
2
because
and
of Lifeskill.
2.5 forever.
That'll be good. 2 is a good price. I would buy Kafris for 2. Or 2.1.
But not 2.5.
2.5 is it's, but that's push. I don't know, man. I need to get another pen armor, and I'm just dreading the enhancement process
Hey,
again.
9,700 Kafris gives you a pen armor.
Yeah. Is that cheaper than just buying a pen Doom Trio? Actually, it might
It
be.
might be.
No, if they drop to 2 mil. If they drop to 2 mil,
That's why they won't go lower.
yeah. I'm trying to work on this Eye of the Ruins ring. I've now failed 3 TED attempts on my second one. I need to do it during the podcast. That's what happened last time. Did it while recording and I got it. Yeah, I wish people would push DP a little bit higher. It's such a fight. You have no idea. So I remember when Black Rose increased the DP rec to 301. This is back when I think everyone was still 294 or maybe 296. It just become a thing. And like a bunch of people were complaining. And in that guild, obviously you have like, you can't really complain because you just get replaced. But in lower tier guilds, like, man, telling people to go to 301 DP is such a chore. People complain and whine. They're like, what? No, that's not fair. Do you realize how expensive that is?
It's not even that expensive.
So
Though.
I'm
That's the funny thing.
experiencing this on my alt, right? I have, I think it's 256 AP, 297 DP. And all I can think every siege is, why do I have 297 DP? This is miserable. I died during a single spell cast. Like, I can't play. This is not survivable. Vexus should not be one-shotting me.
Yeah.
Well, it's especially like Witch and Wizard especially like need that DP because it's all like, you know, super armor and then a little frontal guard thrown in there. But your big stuff is your super armor, your voltaic, and your cataclysm. So you can't be dying while you're casting voltaic, thunderstorm, or cataclysm bola. And the DP is very, very necessary. Whereas, like, you could make an argument for classes like Ninja, Sork, Tamer. It's like they're going to be iframing a lot, and if they get caught, regardless of their DP, they're so squishy that they're probably dying either way.
You see, I reject that last argument. We have a DP Tamer in Barcode, and he does very well. He has 346 DP.
Okay, well, obviously.
Top frags.
I'm saying, like, if you have a Sork with 316, right? Like, and you're fighting another...
Evasion Sorks, they scale so well.
Oh my god, Jeffy.
Great.
They do,
Slap a Liberon.
I mean, basically every class... I mean, I even... You know Multimeter? Zerial or whatever, the DK? He's like 350 DP on his DK, and he's tanky as fuck.
He's got 350 DP, of course he is!
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like...
That's literally above the max bracket for DP.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think that 350 DP is harder to get than like 285 AP.
Well, you want both.
Yeah, you want both. But I'm just saying, like, because people are like happy to go for 285 AP, but they feel like that DP is impossible to get. And I don't think
but again, it goes back to most likely they probably feel like the 350 DP is a waste because it's not going to help them generate more gold to get more gear.
Don't call it gold, dude. You WoW classic.
Whatever, fucking money, cunt.
Yeah, no, that's true. Maybe they need to make a DP zone where your only goal is to survive. And you
Dude, survival mode would be kind of funny, actually. I don't know how they would
drop
do it.
A new neck. That neck like 5 AP better than a pen ogre.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Makes AP better. I don't know.
Well,
Be cool.
did you, Jeffy? Were you doing Altar of Blood during?
Not extensively, no.
We had all right. So Sammy got 2 Tep boss boxes and a Tri Green box during that event.
Damn.
He got Muskins, Begs, and then I think like Tri Lamori or Tri Akum or something. It was like fucking crazy. And I feel like they made the worst change. So after the event ended, they kept the easier difficulty, but removed the double rewards. I feel so much like they should have done the opposite and leave it difficult, but double the rewards. Because I don't know, man.
So much
Because
of
the
GDO
difficulty was
content
cool.
is reward driven because the pressure to progress is so high in this game. It's just the culture. It's everyone wants the reward, wants the progression reward from every activity they're doing. And so if content comes out and the reward isn't there, players aren't going to do it. They're going to say it's less fun, when really it's just less rewarding.
Right.
And they have fun when they get rewarded. It's just how people are. But
yeah, Altar proved that. Everyone said Altar wasn't fun, and then last week everyone was so excited to do Altar all week long. It literally is just the rewards. If it has a good reward, it's people love it. It's awesome. Yeah, I don't know. The rewards going back to what they were, but the difficulty lowering, I think, is the opposite of what it should be. Should be harder, but the rewards doubled.
Yeah, let's lock more people.
It's
out
not
of
like
content.
people weren't.
wait, is
beating
that what
9 or 10.
happened? Is Altar of Blood still easy?
It-
Bad boost?
It doesn't lock anyone out. You can still do all the way up to 8 with like a baby group. It was just 9 and 10 were hard, but you still get rewards for all of the levels leading up to it, and they were all doubled. And yes, that's what they did, Jeffy. After the event ended, they said that the difficulty is going to remain the same going forward as it was during the event, but the drop rate went back to normal.
Okay, rip the week of tryhard I did when it first came out to pop up on the leaderboards.
Yeah, well, they removed the leaderboards too entirely.
What?
They just got rid of them. I'm pretty sure that was in the notes. I haven't looked
No, it's
to see
still
if the
there.
interface is gone. Yeah, I
It's
guess
still
no
there.
one's going to be added to or changed. That's what it is.
Okay.
So if you're still up there, you're going to be up there forever. You're enshrined in stone. Yeah, that's what it is. You can't be put on the leaderboard anymore or something in the new one. So there you go. You're forever up there. You're going to be famous one day.
Forever number 6.
Forever number 6. I don't know. Is there? Oh, all right. Let's talk about the Fishbot event.
Yeah,
We're gonna get fortune pouches next week, which kind of sucks that Kaffir stones can't drop below 2 mil. Maybe they would have with that event. But I saw in Korea their boxes have the black gems in them as well. So there's a little bit more variation of shit you can get. Because we didn't obviously have that last time we had the event. But basically, fortune pouches, for anyone who's not seen them, we had the event last year. A blue box drops whenever you're grinding, fishing, or gathering. That gives you a chance at a rare or one of these items. It's like sharps, hards, ancient spirit dust, cron stones, memory fragments, Valk's cry, or armor and weapon stones. And then if you get a gold box, you get like multiple of those items. You can get like 4 or 5 different items or something like that when you get the golden luxury fortune pouch or whatever it's called. And yeah, we had a bunch of people fish bought the shit out of the event last year. And right now there's still, like, just 4 days ago, I saw 3 Zerker bots farming relic scrolls, or not relic scrolls, ancient whatever, the written pages. So I'm kind of concerned that the market's about to get fucked in some weird way.
I've always been really weak on bot control in BDO. Right now you see a lot of speed hackers in the top end grind spots, and they do these big ban waves every couple months. They always seem a little bit too little, too late. And the day after, for some mysterious reason, the Olvia channels are crowded. A week later, all the hackers are back.
Yeah, that's a good point. The Olvia server. Oh, no.
Like, take a look. Next time there's a ban wave, you'll see Olvia crowded. Happens every time.
Despite the bots, this is probably my favorite event.
Because it's
love
the most
getting-
rewarding.
Yeah, it's so good, dude.
Well, because it's
And it's
Caphras is the big thing, right?
Well, it's Caphras, but here's the thing: like the golden chest event was probably more rewarding if you sat and spammed the golden chest, but spamming the golden chest wasn't fun. The thing I like about the fortune pouch is I could do the things I normally do and get bonuses. Like I enjoy grinding, so it, to get the extra drop from grinding, and I do AFK fishing to come home and see that I had like 4 fortune pouches every day when I got home from work was cool. So I like that. You had fun doing everyone running around the horse track in Medaya.
I got 10,000 Caphras that event. I had plenty of fun.
I
didn't do it as much as other people, but I don't know, it was fairly enjoyable.
All day, every day, and we were in Discord calling out how many Caphras went up each bid. We'd all be like buying it with our marketplace maids.
Yeah. I mean, it was a cool event, but I just wish the boxes were in way more places.
In Korea,
the
they were
horse
in
track
Serendia.
route.
We got the nerfed version of the chest event, just so everyone knows. That was nerfed.
Of course. So in Korea, they were in Serendia, so like Swamp Fogan.
Yeah, it was just different.
Yeah. I don't know. It was cool. I guess. I like the fortune pouch. It's better, though. Let me do just nothing and get the same shit. Or a bonus. Yeah, but the botting's gonna be out of hand already. It's so fucking bad, dude. The Zerker thing is so annoying to me. Like, they're literally just sitting there on main channels. They don't even wear ghillie suits anymore.
If it's one class and one ability, that's the problem. How have they not been able to fix it in 3 years? The one time they tried to fix it, like, by capping 60 FPS, I feel like that was a sea monster attempt. It just broke everything. It's just technical due to the way the project is managed and run. And it's so upsetting with the amount of money Pearl Abyss pulls in that they're not able to get more competent programmers to address these technical issues. They're not willing to invest in it.
If they nerf that one ability, Zerkers like Rez are gonna cry. They're gonna cry so much.
You're goddamn right.
Yeah, Zerkers are, they're giant, but they're giant babies. All right, costumes. They in Southeast Asia. I think it's already in Korea, right, Jeffy? They doubled the cost of, they doubled the silver you get from selling a costume on the marketplace, and they doubled the cronstones you get for melting the costume. So the pearl price is the same. So I guess you get more silver or cronstones for spending IRL money. If you're buying the costumes from the marketplace, it's no different, except I guess you have to buy fewer of them, or less orders you have to put up because you get double. But the silver to cronstone ratio is the same. I mean, the only good thing really from it, in my opinion, is that there's going to be more listed. So people that can't get costumes or don't spend money will have a little bit easier time getting costumes they want for their actual character or for cron attempts. But yeah, I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on the increase? And are we going to get it next week?
I hope it's not soon, because I just extracted about 45 costumes. I really hope I don't get burned for that. Tenho. It's one of those where Southeast Asia has always been the more pay-to-win region. And it's safe to assume we'll get it eventually. I don't think we're going to get it soon. But of course, I hope we don't, because then I'm going to look like a giant idiot.
Yeah, I'm saving mine, dude, for my Manos Penho later.
I have a feeling we're going to get it pretty quick.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you said something like Moreland is asked about it, right, Jeffy? Or what was...
It's one of those where some members of the community have contact with Kakao employees, and often they can ask questions, but the Kakao employees don't actually know what Pearl Abyss is doing. So often they won't know. Sometimes they won't say intentionally. I'm pretty low confidence on anyone knowing when this will happen for sure. It's all just speculation. Because often we get changes from Pearl Abyss that Cacao didn't even know about.
Global build, by the way.
Well, I mean, we're only missing like 2 of their newer things, right? In NA
Yeah,
and
I'm
EU,
still
as far as
just.
content.
I find it just laughable how they used "quote unquote" global build as an excuse to make our game more pay to win.
Do you remember where the phrase
literally all
global
it was.
build came from?
Remind us.
It was announced at a BDO Festa, I want to say 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And those festas are just full of ideas, many of which they don't follow up on. It's the same place where they announced the wall climbing life skill, the Trina shield, it was shield and the chariot. The global build was announced there. That's where they talked about the plantations. Where half of that shit never comes out. Okay. I think they also mentioned class balance. Like we know it's just a PR thing, and the global
but now
build
that's
was
happening
a
with
catchphrase
Secession.
that everyone latched onto.
They are balanced in the classes. It's called Secession, dude. It's gonna balance the classes.
All right, I've been asked by multiple people to help. It's Succession.
Whatever.
No, whatever me. Wait, real quick. So what are your thoughts on Succession, Jeffy, from what you've seen? And is the which one going to be cool?
I haven't looked too far into it. In general, they're taking content from BDO Mobile and pulling it into the retail version of the game, which is mostly going to confound the combat system. I don't think it's going to increase balance. It's just going to shake things up a lot.
No, dude. They said it's gonna
And
balance it.
not in a good way.
They said that it's gonna balance the PvP. Don't worry about it. Don't analyze that statement at all. Just it's gonna balance it.
I don't see how it can't make it perfectly balanced too.
This is part of the
It's sort
global build.
It's sort of foolproof.
Well, the
The
interesting
global
part
build,
is
the global
you can
build
opt
includes
into it.
mobile.
At the end of the day, players get to choose, do you want to go for your succession abilities or do you go for your awakened abilities? So for each class, one is just going to be better. So a lot of players won't even use their succession.
Yeah. That's probably true and sad. That part is a little bit of a bummer, to be honest, though. Like,
A lot of
I
wasted
mean, I don't know how.
development time, if you ask me.
There's a lot of like, I mean, I saw someone else mention this on Reddit, but there's so many games that have multiple trees, and at the end of the day, it ends up you just pick one. It almost always. It's like there's always like a cookie cutter version that just is the best. So I don't know. I don't know how you combat that.
I
But
mean, you just have to. I mean, easier said than done. I'm well aware, but you just have to try to make them relatively equal. And that's all you can do, really. Because the last thing you want to do is like force players to play one specific way. You want to give them options, but
yeah,
I don't know. While I'm excited for Succession, I do understand that like I'm well aware, and I haven't shied away from the fact that this is only going to complicate the game further. It's like arguably not very good for the game, even though I am excited for it. And I do think there are going to be some benefits. I think you're going to see a surge in player base when they finally release it. Whether those players are going to stay around, who knows? Probably not. But it's certainly not going to balance things out like Pearl Abyss claims it will. That's such a actually retarded statement. I don't know what's up with that. But yeah, I don't know. Again, easier said than done, but all they can do is try to balance it, which again makes it more frustrating when this company just doesn't do anything.
It's not in their best interest to balance the game. Financially, they're better off to rotate imbalances around to encourage players to re-roll. keeps them
Frosty.
interested
See,
in playing a new class and spending money on the new class.
I agree with the statement, but they're not practicing that in any way because they're not buffing anybody. They haven't buffed anybody for like what is the last time a class
Have you
got a
not
buff
been hit by
that
a
would
Kuno
encourage
spin?
rerolls? I mean, I guess, but Kuno's still one of the least played classes. So it's like the theory is sound. It's just not happening in practice. That's my only thing with it. I don't disagree with the theory and that it does make a lot of sense. I'm just not seeing it because like
I mean, the Shy. I don't think people understand how powerful Shy is. If they knew, we'd see a lot more Shies running around.
Also, if that theory, to support that theory, wouldn't you go back and buff? Like, why wouldn't you buff Ranger? Ranger's archetype is like one of the most powerful or the most popular in any game. And
I think with
for whatever
Succession,
reason,
you
they
will
haven't
see
touched
it. I think with Succession, you're going to see Ranger is going to turn into a ranged class again, and they're going to be really powerful. It's just, this company is slow. It's a big, complicated game, and they're a small indie company, so everything they do takes time.
What was that sound effect you just made, Rosa?
Oh, nothing.
You don't think they're small?
I think they're rich. So if they're small, then that's fault on them, not on
They could
anything
have
else.
they could hire more or better staff, or they could purchase internet spaceships, and they went with purchasing internet spaceships.
Explain.
Community. Eve Online. Pearl Abyss bought the entire game, basically. They bought out the company and then proceeded to ruin it.
Shocker.
Big shocker. Yeah. A lot of salty Eve vets. If you find one, if you just find an Eve veteran out in the world, ask them how they feel about their new Pearl Abyss overlord.
Their new Korean overlord. Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing, right? Is it's like, I don't know. Like, they're so rich. They make so much money. So it's like, just hire more and or better people to do all these things. Like, there's no reason for, like, some of the smallest, like, stupid shit, like the fact that you can't war hero if you own a territory, and that being a technical limitation. There's no reason for that. There is absolutely no reason for that. Like, that's insanity to me for a company to be so rich and still have that be an issue, because it's essentially a bug, is basically what it is. It's just one that they don't care about, so nobody calls it a bug. I don't know. That's insane to me.
The war hero thing?
Yeah.
Well, how is that a bug? Not being able to war
It's
hero?
a bug in effect. Like, it's not an intended thing, is what I'm saying.
It is intended because the fort thing is like, all right, so you can't war hero out if your fort is placed, right? But if you win a territory or if you win a node war, your fort is still there, still on the territory. Like, you could, that is a conscious choice by them. They don't want you to war hero out if you own a territory. That's on them. I don't think that that's a bug. I really don't. They can definitely do that.
I think that, but I'm not saying that it's a bug. I'm saying, in effect, it's similar to a bug in that it's not a design choice that they specifically made. I don't think it is anyway. I think I kind of agree with what Jeffy was saying, where he was saying that they basically, because the fort goes down instantly for the next siege, you're not able to war hero out because your fort is placed, and you can't war hero when your fort is placed. And I think that they looked at that and they were like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." Like, I don't.
Yeah, but your fort is still placed. Like, is your fort not still down for the 4 days that you own the node until the node resets on the day it's available to place again?
But it's not like, that's not an upcoming war though. So like, there's like, yeah, the fort is there, but that's not like the fort that you are now going to play around. It's essentially a ghost fort, right? And the only purpose for it is that you can't place around it if you build on that node war zone again.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I guess it's possible. It's not possible. but-
I'm that's what I think. I don't know. I'm buying into it. I'm putting on my tinfoil, whatever.
I know you love that thing. Your tinfoil gets so much use, dude. You
Dude.
gotta wash that thing.
I can't. If I take it off, what am I supposed to do?
You're not gonna know what's up.
Yeah. Dude, at the end of the day, I don't know. Probus fucking sucks. They created such a good game, and they're one of the worst fucking companies I've ever seen in my entire life, honestly.
Well, on that note, we probably should move on to user comments. Jeffy, I want to thank you so much for coming on and talking with us about some random ass bullshit about the life skill stuff. I know a lot of that stuff you answer it over and over and over again, but I'm sure there's new people out there that really appreciate you answering the questions. I appreciate you answering the questions. So yeah, we'll link your guide in the video. We'll post it I posted it in the Discord already, but I'll repost it again when the video is up. Yeah, so thanks again for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. Where can people find you or your stream? What times do you stream? Your YouTube channel, all that stuff.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, sorry I got a little rambly there. I stream in the evenings, 8 o'clock Eastern, pretty much every day. And I've got my own personal Discord, which is you can find via my Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Jeffythewise. And if you guys have questions, just stop by, ask, hang out, chat. I'm here to be helpful. Helps keep me involved with the community and enjoying the game. But again, thanks for having me, and it was a good podcast.
Yeah, when I was talking to Cairo about you, I was like a little while back, I was like, dude, I kind of want to have Jeffythewise on. He's like, wait, are you serious? He's such a troll, though. He's just gonna troll you. I was just like, really? Oh, I think it's super helpful. He has like guides and stuff.
I do troll people who deserve it. Yes.
Oh, yeah,
That makes sense.
He likes being made fun of because he has full pen armor and he doesn't even have 331 DP. Anyway, yeah. So thanks again.
Well, I won't get into that.
Vulpus. I say Cairo, but I guess you guys know him all as Vulpus because of his family. Anyway, yeah. So thanks again for coming on, man. Rezlar, are you ready to get to the comments? You reading them this time?
I can. Do you want me to? Or do you want to?
Yeah, kind of. I'm stuck doing fucking Abib Griffins.
Oh, Christ. Seriously?
No, I'm with Scared Bear. We've been doing camo scrolls this whole time, and it's awful.
Oh, you should have told me, dude. I have so many scrolls that I've been holding on to for literally like 3 months that I don't have anybody to do them with.
There's a reason we didn't tell anybody else. I do not want to wait around for more.
Dude, what do you... I have, let's see, I have 8 Gyphins. I have 24 Roneros, 17 Manschwams. Like, think of how much more shit you could have gotten. Let me pull up the comments real quick. Thanks everybody for leaving a comment on the last video. Really appreciate it. Make sure you drop one on this one as well. Wait, that's... shit. I clicked on the wrong video. I clicked on the tier list. Fuck! It was, Vanguards, right?
Yes. That was our last guess, Vanguards.
Things are a little chaotic. I'm struggling here. Alright. Pull this bitch up on screen. Okay. Palos X Septum says, glad this podcast exists so I'm not dreading grinding all day or being hella bored during so.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. What the fuck is that name? Oh, it's No Looky Looky. I was trying to decode what the fuck this name was. No Looky Looky says the tier list was well explained. Don't listen to the haters. Yeah, I hate calling people haters. I like to call them retards because it's mostly what they were. I don't know, man.
No. People disagree. They're not retarded because they disagree.
No. I'm not
No.
talking about those people. I'm talking about the people who didn't even like watch the thing and then are reeing at us for an opinion that they actually didn't even receive. Like, those people are retards. If in my opinion, if you have a disagreement, that's fine. If you say this is what I think it is, that's fine. If you say like you people are stupid and you don't know what you're talking about, but you didn't even like watch what we were saying, you're kind of retarded. So that's my honest opinion about it. Like, you can't shit on other people's opinion if you don't know what their opinion is. Like,
I guess that's less harsh, but at the same time, the overall opinion is there.
yeah.
Regardless of reasoning with the image.
Yeah.
So,
and again, I have no problem with
be too
someone
harsh.
skipping to the end and then saying, I disagree with this. This is what I think it is. Like, that's fine. Like, whatever. I don't like it because I'd rather you get our explanation. Because I think if you got our explanation, you would find yourself agreeing with us for the most part, honestly. But, like, what's the word I'm looking for? The animosity that some people have. It's so strange. I don't get it. Like, it's just very strange. Again, I have no problem.
The animosity, I agree. The people that are angry, those people are morons for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, being angry at anyone's opinion is like, yeah.
It's like, dude.
Although, no, you know what? I'm always angry at your opinion, so never mind. Actually, I get it now.
Like, I don't know. It's just weird. It's hard to explain. Again, I don't have a problem with someone saying like I disagree. This is what I think it is. Like, that's fine. That's whatever. It's the people that come with such animosity. They don't like listen to what we have to say. They don't care about what we did. It's the people that are like, you know, oh, I stopped watching when you ranked my class this. You know, it's so much worse. You guys are fucking retards. Yeah. It's like, oh my god. Like, I just don't care.
This is the worst tier list in the history of tier lists.
Was that a Trump impression?
What? No, did it sound like Trump?
Well,
that was a Rezlar impression.
It kind of mirrored like this is the worst trade deal in the history of trade, or you know, like whatever he said, like whenever he first got in office.
Right.
Or no, it was the best trade deal. Is that what he said? I'm trying to remember.
That was you just did a goblin voice. I'm not going to get into what he said. We're going to move on. What's the next comment?
Magnu 5 Cream apostrophe says Frosty's giggle is just too pure. Also, that at 2:28:29 was amazing. P.S. Show the comments all the time. Great podcast, Frosty and the potato. Appreciate it, fam.
I'm not showing the comments this time because Rezlar's reading them, and I have to finish these scrolls. I apologize.
I'll show them. That's why I have them on screen right now. Which actually,
okay, cool.
I need to turn off my chat block so that we can see all of it. There we go. That's better. Yeah, I'll slap this bitch up on screen. No worries.
Cool.
Nyashi says, all right, if I break a warrior block, that bitch better be staggered. Just saying, LOL. Large scale is different, I know, but that's PA's fault for creating Archer. While you're at it, remove animation stutters while being hit, like chase ending early because wizard AoE hits you and then you get CC'd. That would help so many classes in large scale. That's more of an issue than block breaks IMO. Yeah, so I agree with the animation stutter, especially as a berserker. That shit is really frustrating and gets old very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
The warrior block break thing, again, I just think that in the current state of the game, like, it's too punishing. Like, forward guard is supposed to be how they survive. They don't survive with iframes, they don't survive with super armor. They survive with frontal guards. They do have an iframe.
And they do have some super armors.
Yeah, but that's not how they survive, right? So
I mean, it's an aspect.
You would say it's an aspect, sure, but it's not how they survive. Frontal guard is also on wizard, but it's not how they survive. How you're supposed to survive as a wizard is super armors. That's their main protection. That's what they do to survive. If you look at a Kuno, they have block, sure, but that's not their main way to survive. Their main way to survive is iframes.
Oh, wait, what? No. Okay, so first of all,
How do you disagree with that?
They have one iframe.
On a 2-second
Do they have
cooldown.
two?
Not even.
Yeah, but it's like it's also super armor. It's also super armor on the start and super armor on the end of it. That's not how they survive. They survive by just not being near the fight and coming in invisible.
Oh my
That's a little
god.
different. Let's not compare it to other classes. Look, here's the thing with your block argument. I get what you're saying, that the block is an important aspect and it should be strong. But the stagger is the punishment for abusing your block. So if they need to make the
How
block
is it
stronger,
abusing it?
let me finish my fucking thought. If the block needs to be stronger, then fine. So be it. I'm not disagreeing with that. And I like that change they made where you get DP every time your block is hit with succession. And maybe that should come to the actual, like the current version of the game as well. But the stagger is, I like the stagger because it's a thing where it's like, if you over abuse it, you run out and you die. It's like, no, it's not dissimilar than like stamina on a lot of classes. On a Sork, if you can get them to run out of stamina, that's it. They're done. And
Yeah.
I think that part of it, I think, is fine with Warrior. That's all I'm saying. I do agree the block should be stronger, but not the stagger shouldn't be, and you shouldn't be rewarded for your block breaking, which is what the idea was last week. You got what Vanguard said, or you said, one of you guys said that you should be an iframe during it or super armor.
No,
like,
that wasn't me. That was all Vanguards. I don't think
was-
that's what should happen. I just think in the current state of the game where everybody's walking around with 269 fucking minimum, like most people in like these tier 2 guilds are walking around with 265 to 269 minimum. It's way too easy to break the block. You break the block, like I'm at 265 AP. I can break a warrior's block even at like 310 DP with an Ancient Wave split shot. One ability, one flow. Block is now broken. Like how, like, and they get CC'd for it because they get staggered and the split shot's going to CC them. How is that fair?
I mean, at the same time, like Jeffy was saying, you kind of, if the warrior had invested money in their DP instead of just going above and beyond an AP, would they
So
survive
now you're
that?
saying that, okay, if you want your block to survive, you have to not kill people and you have to build DP meme. So that way you don't get staggered and you can actually fight people with 270 AP.
Don't diminish it by calling it a DP meme. Like getting pen armors is not a DP meme. DP meme is like when you're going like Manos accessories and shit, which is not what I'm talking about. Like all right, let's say you're from the Zerker's point of view. Like what should you have to do to break a block? Because an Ancient Wave split shot, like if both of those are hitting a warrior straight on, should there not be some like reward for that? Because that's a long cooldown too. It's not like you get to just throw out Ancient Waves willy-nilly.
Yeah, but you shouldn't, if you're a Zerker and you're Ancient Wave split shotting into a warrior's block, in my honest opinion, you should be, in a way, punished for that, because that's not a smart move to do. Except it is, because we're in this weird fucking world where blocks break in one fucking hit.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
like, you should, honestly, you should be punished for blowing your nuke on someone who is not CC'd and is absorbing all the damage.
Yeah.
That person should be punished. But they're not. But they're not. Because we're in this world where you can choose to just throw out your biggest damage nuke ability at a target who is going to absorb at least most of the damage and is not CC'd. And that's okay.
I'm with you. Look, I'm going to half agree with you. I agree the block should be stronger, but I also agree, or I also think that if you're going to play warrior these days, you just got to accept that you're going to have to actually enhance your armors past 10.
Yeah. And then just
but
not
the DP
grind as fast as everybody else already, considering that your PvE is super good.
Yeah, you're a warrior anyway. You're life skilling, let's be honest.
I don't know. I just think that's such like a. I hate that so much. That's like saying like, yeah, I mean, you know, Sork may have some stamina issues, but just AFK run around at night instead of fishing or processing. That's your problem, not the game's. Like that's such a cop-out argument.
Except that Sorks are just playing around it. Warriors don't want to.
No, they are though. Except it's bad. The way of playing around it doesn't work.
Breaking? Is Zethian's block breaking? I don't even know.
Zethian's
Like,
also
is it?
like the most geared person on this
Because-
server. So what exactly is your
Yes,
argument?
but he didn't. But he didn't have. He didn't have to be. He didn't have to get up to 285 to get there. He could have like gotten to 269 and started building DP. DP is not harder to make than AP.
No, I wouldn't argue that either. But what it does do is it makes your income the same, whereas getting bonuses in your AP increases your income, further allowing you to get more gear, including DP.
Well, then you can do the AP first and then start working on the DP. Just know that your block's probably gonna break. I mean, I don't know how many times I could say I agree that the block should be stronger in general, regardless of whether or not they have DP. But like, I just don't think a warrior should be able to walk around forever, like not getting punished, either.
But my point is, right now that's not happening.
I know, that's why I said their block should be improved. But to get a benefit for your block breaking is absurd. But also, if like the balance change is that like now their block just can't break, that also is absurd.
Yeah.
Even if that's their primary, like, or maybe make it stamina based. Maybe make the block actually absurd, but when you're holding your block, it's draining
That's
stamina.
actually one of the things that I suggested a very, very long time ago before Head Chase consumed stamina, because Warrior had no use of stamina, and I was like, well, why not tie your block to stamina since we have no use for it anyway? It would actually give meaning to the stamina bar. But now that Head Chase uses stamina, that would probably kill the class even more, in all honesty.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you'd have to reduce the stamina cost of some stuff to make it make sense. I don't know, like some sort of limit.
They need to apply the whole getting hit on your block increases your damage reduction to Warrior as a whole.
Yeah.
That's honestly what they need to do. And then leave the stagger on, because as long as the block is powerful and it allows them to be actually protected, then they should get punished if you break it.
Right. I 100% agree with that.
So,
all right. Next comment. But yeah, 100% agree. I'm with you.
Tim says, never done Altar of Blood, never will. Need a group with a ton of gear to get far enough for the rewards to be worth it.
The current Altar of Blood is a lot easier, though. And the rewards you get for completing some of the stuff the first time are very good. I believe you get a 50 mil gold bar. You get 50 stack for completing level 9. You can get carried if you just bring 2 other geared people to level 9. That's a free 100 stack. You also get 50 Kafra stones. I do think it's worth doing one time, even if you aren't that geared. At least try to get some friends to go with you and help you with it.
Yeah. Unless you're...
And they did make it easier, so it takes way less time. You could go from 1 to 9 now in like 50 minutes.
Unless
like the whole way through.
Unless you're like me and have sworn off enhancing, and then that stack is worthless to you. So
did you? You're done with it?
Yeah. No, I swore it off. I'm done. I'm done playing this gamble machine. It's very frustrating. It's honestly the worst aspect of this game. And I think that's why most players quit, including myself. I've definitely, some of the breaks that I've taken in the past have been because of enhancing. So yeah, I'm done. I'm just saving up money. I'm going to save up money and buy a Tech Crescent and then do the rest of the Bartali's log. And then I'll be at 273. And then once I'm at 273, I'm just going to start trying to get DP, basically.
Yeah. That's not horrible idea. It's good.
So I got 2 bills sitting in the bank. Got to save up another like 3 or something because the market is shit. And yeah.
Yeah, I didn't swear off it. I just started doing enhancing again for like my Eye of the Ruins, and I have to do at least one of the. I don't know if Dim Tree drops, but I cannot justify paying 25 bill for 1 armor piece. So yeah, I'm gonna do the Dim Tree, but I'm probably gonna buy the second pen armor I need, whatever boots I end up going with. I can't enhance both.
The Shepherd 112 says, on the topic of most hated classes right now, as an archer, I get shit all the time. I don't let it bother me, but I get told to play a real class and kill yourself all the time. It's just weird how much hate archer gets.
Yeah.
Welcome to 2018 Ninja.
when I read that, I wanted to ask you, what do you think the most hated class in the game is? That every time someone runs into them, it's just like fuck this person that plays this class for playing this class?
I think it's still ninja.
I think it's still ninja.
Yeah, I think it's still ninja, and I think overall, I think it's still ninja, and then archer's like slightly behind it. I think.
I think Sork's up.
I
there,
think
man.
Sork is up there too. I think Sork is probably number 3 and number 4.
I think the two. I think Warrior and Valk had it pretty bad for a while there, but I don't think. I think the king of all of it, like the all-time most hated class during a period, has to be the Mystic.
Yeah.
Like Launch Mystic was fucking the hatred, dude. Was nutty, and you were considered like, at least with Ninja,
Well,
even the people that hate it like are like, well, you have to practice. But on Mystic, it was like, you're also an idiot if you play this class.
I don't know, dude. The hatred that Warrior mains had back when we still had lingering, like the amount of times I would get told to like play an actual class and like, oh, you're so dog shit, you have to play Warrior by like Musas or Sorks and stuff back in the day.
Mhm.
Was like actually kind of hilarious and sad at the same time. Which, like, I'll be the first one to say that lingering was broken as fuck. It honestly should have never been in the game in the first place, and it made it super unfair for classes that didn't have a grab. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't make the class, buddy. I just play it, so.
Yeah, that's the thing. Hating someone for their class is lame, because like, you know, most people are not even. There are a lot of people, I guess, that play just because of how strong the class is, but the play styles are so different. Like Archer is really strong, but I don't enjoy it, so I can't play it. Like there's a lot of people that just they pick a class because they like the style and the weapons and how it looks and everything and how it feels to play, regardless of its strength. And there's still a lot of DKs. So hating on someone because they like a class, the balance is not their fault, honestly. So it's kind of a waste of breath. It also ruins friendships. No one wants to hear that shit. After a while, it gets old.
Yep. Kelly Zerigby says, I watched that tier list guide all the way through. It was pretty fair. Yeah, we tried. Apparently we failed.
We tried and failed. It was a good effort, though. It was fun.
Good effort. Davy Jones BDO says, thank you guys for your work and effort you put into it. Appreciate it, man. Grigori says, hey guys, I've been listening to you guys since I started a couple months ago. I enjoy getting to hear the opinions of level-headed people who have been playing for a while. Keep up the good work. Maybe we could duel if I ever hit full tri-boss gear within the decade.
We could duel anyway. Make a trial character. Finish your Bartali, make a trial character. He'll have 258 AP, and we could duel. We could do a King of the Hill night or whatever where we only bring trials. I'd be done.
Kazingus says, I am waiting for podcast with Blade Bequest.
Ooh, that'd be a good one, huh?
Yeah.
Didn't he just make 50 billion silver in 5 hours?
What?
He recently put up a video where he said he made like 50 billion silver in 5 hours.
See, like that.
He's got some cool headlines, all right? Give him a break.
That's the thing I hate about life skillers. No offense to life skillers out there, including Jeffy, but like the amount of times I hear like, "Oh, dude, I just made like 400 mil in like 45 minutes." It's like, yeah, but how much time before that 45 minutes did you sink into this? Like they never talk about that.
Yeah.
They never, and like I'm glad that Jeffy pointed out like the fact that like, listen, if you want to get into life skilling, yes, you can make profit, but it's an investment. You have to spend time, you have to put effort into it. I appreciate that he like pointed that out because there's so many people that only talk about the results and they like show it off like they didn't like spend like a year like obtaining these mats, processing this shit. Like all they ever talk about is how like, oh dude, I just made 400 mil in 45 minutes, 30 minutes. It's just so like,
I love that voice.
it's so disingenuous.
Hey Bert, hey Ernie. It's like Bert and Ernie, dude. You got that? Hey, I just life skill, man. I gather. Hey Bert.
It's just so disingenuous. I fucking hate it.
Yeah, we used to have that too with like some of the life skillers would do like cooking back then, where it was like, dude, cooking took some setup. First of all, you had to gather. So you had to invest a significant amount of time to gather. You had to get proper cooking tool or utensil. You had to enhance your cooking clothes. You had to do whatever you could to get your cooking time down. You had to buy the pearl item. And then they'd be like, this is back when like we were making 15, 20 mil an hour at Gaha's. And they'd be like, oh, dude, I make 55 mil an hour cooking easily. And I'm like, but there's other investment in what you did. I realize I'm repeating basically what you just said, but it annoyed me too. Is the point. Sorry, go on.
It's very annoying. It's just very frustrating.
In fairness, grinders do that shit too, dude. The amount of people that grind that say that they make like 250 mil an hour at Star's End, where you're just like, wait, you're counting the 1 hour you got the earring as that's your average? Okay.
Do people do that though?
Fuck yeah, they do that shit, dude.
I don't know. I don't converse with those people, I guess. Usually the people that I talk to about grinding when they get drops, they say, I got this and this rare drop. They don't like add it in. Or if they do it jokingly. Like somebody will go grind in history, get a tongue grad after 5 seconds and then go like, oh yeah, like I made the blah blah blah, like as a joke.
I mean, I think you can add it in over time. You just got to average it. Like if I grind for 20 hours and get 2 distortion earrings, I'm going to divide that post-tax, whatever ends up being 270 mil plus 270 mil, divide that over the 20 hours to add to my total, I guess. But yeah, to be like, oh, I grinded Stars End for an hour and got a distortion earring, so I make 400 mil an hour generally over there. It's like, yeah, no, you don't.
All right. Harambe has a couple comments here. He says, not related to this podcast, but I want to hear what you guys would think about the idea I had. I was thinking maybe they should make the teleport more like DK or Sork iframe, make it stamina based, and make the stamina cost really high, so it can only TP 3 times max or so with full stamina. Keep the double TP on the 7-second cooldown, so repositioning is easier, and it won't be insanely broken unless the cost is too low. If the cost is high, it could even make it easier to catch a witch because all the evasion is stam-based as well, so no avoiding anyone forever, but you could move more easily through all aspects of play since all skills basically lock you in place.
And it's an eye, so they basically would get 3 iframes plus the double teleport every 7 seconds. I mean, that might be a little bit too strong. But I like the idea.
I think that's a pretty good idea. I think I don't know. My question is, do they need it? And I find myself saying no, not really.
I just think a more simple solution would be just give an iframe to magical evasion on like a 5-second.
I agree. So they actually have like something that will help them in 1v1 with like dodging
that they can
CCs
use
and shit.
The good players can time it and manage the cooldown properly, and the bad players, it makes little to no difference.
Right, exactly. He also says they should add a life skill where you can tame pets, make those pets sellable on the central market with a pet tag or something. Have them do a quest to get licensed and buy tags needed to make pets transferable from Pearl Shop for like $1 a piece.
I guess I don't fully understand this one.
Essentially, go out and catch pets in the wild, like your pets that pick up loot.
Right. I mean, I guess that'd be cool. But then, what about all the people that already have pets? I feel pretty pissed if I paid money getting like pets, and now you just go catch them. I would have just done that.
I mean. Again,
a little bit.
I think it comes down to like catch-up mechanics are similar, right? It's like you spend this time getting this gear, and then now people get to that gear that you were at 5 months ago that took you 3 years to work on in 2 months.
Yeah, true. To be honest, I actually wouldn't really care if they did that. It'd be fine. But I definitely know people would be like,
oh, people would be pissed. Fuck? Yeah, people would be really upset. But yeah,
I got Goofy pet fucked once. I was trying to make a polar bear T4, and it had an 85% chance, and it fucking failed. Dude, seriously, yes. I was so mad.
Yes, Frosty finally fails for once.
What are you talking about, dude?
And then he says, add Frosty. Think Tamer will be good on Xbox. Average player is 500 to 553. Not many with gold accessories yet. What kind of AP would you need to stomp face? Most people are around 300 DP. Just the DP meme strikers, and Warrior is going to be higher than that. Tamer comes out on October 2nd.
Do they have Awakening? Is it coming out with Awakening?
I have no idea. Probably not. I don't think they have Awakening yet, do they?
Shit. If it's not Awakening, then I have no idea, dude. If it has Awakening and everyone's 300 DP, then you basically, if you get to 257 or 261, you can kill pretty on a Tamer with a proper combo. I think it'll be fine on an Xbox controller, to be honest. You don't hotbar a lot of stuff. I think the Xbox controller is more limiting for classes where you have to hotbar a lot of shit. Or maybe with a lot of screen turning, but I just don't think Tamer has a lot of screen movement, like jerky screen movement that you have to do for the most part. I think Tamer would be good.
Mark Ribalta says, okay, this shit is starting to be worse than drugs. Good job. Appreciate it.
Oh, the podcast or the game?
I'm guessing the podcast. Considering he said good job, I don't know. Would he say good job to Pearl Abyss on our comment section?
Dude, we need to get a donation jar going so the people that are addicted to the drug spend the same kind of money they would on drugs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Ashton James says, nice Tet Tungrad. Didn't know they gave HP like Tet Ruins.
All right, it was a mistake. I apologize. I know, dude. People were like getting all on me about that. When I was looking at the gear from the one dude's comment, he had 2 Eye of the Ruins rings, and I called them Tungrad rings. I glanced at them for a second, so I apologize. But either way, it was still, the point stands. It was a huge loss.
What the fuck? This is some Asian shit. Nishin, I think is how you say that. I don't know. Your grab was straight double that of Valk's back in the day. Is this guy serious? I don't know what he's referencing to.
He's talking about, Vanguard said that he made a comment, I'm paraphrasing here, about there being that the Valk Warrior matchup was like, he didn't understand what Valks were complaining about. Not the matchup specifically, but just the strength and overall comparison. Because Valks would be like, well, I have no grab, or my grab is small. And it's like, okay, but you have PA and heal and Celestial Sphere. And this guy's saying your grab is literally double our range. So, I mean, you have a point, but like the Valk didn't need to rely on grab as much as a Warrior did. Because you had, I mean, Celestial Spear was super armor, especially with the block. They actually, I guess it was always super armor, people say, but I don't know if that was just because of the block cancel. But I don't know, man. You guys had, I think Valk was so good back then.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think, was Warrior or Valk better? I guess it depends. I think Warrior was better until Rabams and Absolutes came out, and then Valk was better. And I'll say that.
Empyrean Dreamer says, as much as I would love it if they fixed the desync, the fact that they haven't tells me the problem is baked very deep into the netcode, and it is too late to fix. They clearly didn't have enough foresight or spend the time to make sure it was up to the task, especially if they planned on making the game so fast-paced and movement-heavy. At this point, we should just accept that desync is a fact of BDO, and it's very unlikely to change.
I mean, I don't disagree with the concluding statement, but the beginning is like, then, I mean, so should they just not have made it an action game, I guess, is the solution? Because there's really no action games, especially MMOs, have really solved desync yet. So I guess their option, they could have just made it tab target and it would be a lot better. If that's the argument, I don't know. I still think they can improve it. I don't think netcode is why. I think there's a lot of factors that they could do to improve it, and I do not believe that it is set in stone.
Yeah,
unless they're not going to try to fix it. They can mitigate. I'm not saying they can eliminate it, but they can mitigate it.
You can see it in the fact that some people desync more than others, just straight up. Like it's obviously not just a netcode thing. I mean, it's not something that's equal across everything. Like Frosty lives 5 minutes from the server, and he very rarely desyncs. I live in Texas, and I desync a whole fucking lot. But
go talk to Benzie and Kip about how much they were desyncing during the kick-out tournament, because it was non-existent. It just didn't happen.
yeah,
They were still using the same software.
But even-
they just had no latency.
even then, it's not even like it's not 100% like a distance from the server thing either. Because I know people on the East Coast that desync less than I do here in Texas. But like it, so it's just kind of like there's a myriad of issues that cause it. I think the worst thing that could happen is that we just accept it, quote unquote.
Yeah, that's the thing. We can't just accept
Yeah,
it.
like
I also hate balancing around desync. Like, people want to remove grabs because desync can't be fixed, and I just think that's so silly.
like if you want to say that like it's a fact of BDO and it's unlikely to change, I'll agree with that.
Mhm.
I disagree with we should accept it. I'll never accept desync because it's not intended. So why would I accept something that's not intended and not beneficial in any way to this game? It's only a hurtful thing. It is only a negative. So, yeah, I'm gonna keep bitching about it until they do something about it, which will probably be never, but until the day I stop playing. Laggy Skills says, I enjoy listening to you guys at work. Thank you for continuing to do the podcast. I've been going back watching all your videos, almost running out. Keep them coming. # one podcast per day.
Oh yeah, fuck.
Maybe
You
when
know,
we can make a living off of this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, hell no. That would be so much time. I mean, with the new recording method, it wouldn't be as bad. Can you imagine though the old way doing one a day? God damn.
Well, I mean, still we have the issue of like my computer is kind of dog shit, so rendering takes a while, and then my internet's kind of dog shit, so uploading takes a while. So, I mean, there's that. Asari says, bro, I love listening to these podcasts while grinding. It keeps me from falling asleep because I actually like the topics you guys talk about. Keep them up. God bless. Well, hopefully you like life skills.
Yeah.
I have a feeling some people are going to be a little bored with this one, but hopefully people find it informative. Is that the word? That's the word, right? Informative? Frosty, help me out here.
Yeah, informative. Yeah, informative and entertaining. Those two things are important.
I don't know how to say that. Achim? I'm gonna say Achim. Achim07 says, feels bad, man. The block when you are downed idea I had was get a block when you are on the ground after you got grabbed to deny the follow-up CC, not to block the grab itself. Frosty SMH my head.
Yeah. I mean, see, the one of the other things, I mean, maybe I misunderstood, so I apologize. But one of the things, I'm almost on the opposite end. I think if you get CC'd, all of your resist should be completely out the window, in my opinion.
Yep.
While you're CC'd. All your resist should just drop to 0. You should never be able to resist if you get CC'd.
Yep.
And if that means give everyone a little bit more protection so it's a little bit more difficult to CC everyone, so be it. But yeah, if I catch you, I don't want to get fucked by RNG. I think that's bullshit. It's hard enough to catch good players.
Yep. 100%
So,
agree.
Them having a block that makes them resist it even more often would just... I'm going to take your shield and I'm going to hit you in the face with it.
In a perfect world, here's what I would like to see happen to BDO. When you get CC'd by somebody, they should have the person who got the CC, assuming that there's no like huge gear disparity, they should have to execute a very complex combo that results in you dying. That's what I would like to see.
A long combo.
Yeah, it shouldn't be we both are at the same guild, I grab you an ancient wave and you die. Nor should it be I start executing this super complicated combo and then for some reason something doesn't work and then you get up and then kill me for it. How it should work is that it should be difficult to catch people. When you do, you should have to execute a fairly complex combo because nobody's dying in 2 hits. And if you manage to pull off this combo without flaws, or I won't say without flaws, but fairly, almost 100% properly, close to, then that should result in a kill, assuming that the gear is relatively the same. In a perfect world, that's what I would like to see for BDO. Will we ever get that? Probably not, but that's to me how I think it should work.
I know you hate me mentioning it, but I do think once everyone's DP is up, outside of the resist.
Christ.
I mean, dude, it is. If you invest in the DP, you survive a combo. Like I have to fight these players all the time where if I don't do an exactly perfect combo, they get up. And sometimes when I do an exactly perfect combo, they get up with like 5% left. So like at that point it does. Like that it's a hard one though, because like if everyone survives a combo, then what is the point of your gear? If like everyone's equalized in that way.
Well, that's
what
point.
It sounds like you're describing, equalized gear.
Well, no, I'm not. That's why I'm saying that in balance can only occur if our gear levels are similar. So I'm not suggesting that we balance gear in the world and make everything equalized. What I'm saying is that we can only judge balance based off of a fight that is happening where two people are of similar gear and skill. So what we should strive to achieve in this fight where two players are of similar gear and skill is what I said previously, which I don't feel like saying again. That's what I'm saying.
So my question is then, in a world where everyone builds to be glass cannon, they go 281, 296. They shouldn't be able to kill someone 296 quickly, in your opinion?
I mean, they can, but I'm not 296. I'm 265, and I can still kill people with
I mean 296 DP. I mean, like, so if they're 281 AP, 296 DP, you think they shouldn't be killed quickly by someone with 281 AP?
But what is like? I just don't like. I have full tet armor with Caphras. I have full tet weapon with Caphras, and it's I don't see what is equal.
I know what the solution is, actually. Give us renown score back.
Give us renown score back?
Well, I mean, in a weird way, the AP gave you some tankiness. Every time you got AP, you also got a little bit more tanky.
I don't know.
People hated renown, but it seriously just needed to be redistributed, I swear.
It did.
The system itself would have been fine if it was just...
You're 100% correct. And that's the thing that people don't want to like talk about with renown is that as an idea, which it's hilarious because this is just Pearl Abyss. If you had to describe Pearl Abyss in one fucking sentence, it would be this. As an idea, it was fantastic. It was just executed fucking horribly. So, but like the idea of like, let's try and make everybody a little bit tankier. How do we do that? Well, that's not a bad idea at all. And the fact of tying it to your overall gear score isn't terrible. But I think that they just they went about it wrong.
What about just adding another slot, another item slot, a new item in the game that would add DP?
Yeah. I mean, that...
I don't know what it would be. Maybe
people are gonna hate that, but yeah.
A belt buckle?
No, gauntlets.
Yeah, but gauntlets are a weapon, so it'd be like on some classes.
That's true. I don't know. Pants?
Maybe. What are we missing? I feel like
we don't
Diablo
have
has
pants.
more. Oh yeah, we don't have pants. Yeah, leggings. There you go. And then it adds, I don't know, it'd probably have to be somewhere around, it can't be too crazy. It'd have to be like, if you have tet pants, you get like plus 30 DP or something. Yeah. That'd be cool, dude, actually.
Yeah, I mean...
And then maybe just make them not Caphras-able.
The only thing I can see is you already know people are going to bitch about having to enhance this new thing.
I'd be excited about it, honestly. Give me something else to go for instead of pen.
Well, you're a strange individual.
I don't want to go for pen, dude.
But anyway, yeah, so that, whatever. That's, in my opinion, that's how it should be. But whatever. Jeff M says, no reason to get upset. This is BDO, Rezlar. Everyone is upset. This is true. But some people are upset justifiably, and some people are retards. So, that's that.
Yeah.
Sphero,
Dude, I'm hyped about this new DP armor idea.
yeah, you're going to send a letter to Perlabis?
I mean, dude, they could like imagine in one patch it was like we've added a new armor slot called pants or leggings or whatever called jeans, and you enhance them up or whatever. You get like 30, maybe 30 DP at 35 at pen, and then they remove PA from the game in the same exact patch.
I'll take it.
That'd be fun, dude. All right, go on. Sorry, what was the next comment?
Sphero says, my man Van Gertz, respect. P.S. I complain about large scale because I feel like the effort isn't worth the reward compared to other classes. I think I failed to phrase that correctly when I was on the podcast. You may have, and I may have just butchered your point, but the point remains that Warriors suck in large scale.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's a really hard class to succeed with in large scale. No question. Yeah, don't feel bad. Sphero, you probably did a good job. I mean, it was a while back, so yeah, we used just paraphrasing.
Yeah, I probably butchered your point, but Lost Soul says, how did you miss my comment? It was in concealment. Did we miss Lost Soul's comment last podcast?
I don't know. It might have been after we did the recording. Basically, maybe. I guess we probably should clarify this. I should clarify this on the next recording at the top. But if you want us to read your comment, you basically have to have it in by the end of the day, Thursday night, to guarantee. Because sometimes we record Friday, sometimes we record Saturday, sometimes Sunday. So if you want to guarantee it's going to be on the show, have it in by midnight Thursday. Otherwise, we might miss it. So it's possible he added a comment, just we already recorded. I don't know.
Possibly. Sarah Angel says, love the podcast as always. Heard Warrior Secession plus iframe and instantly got moist. 100% agree on the Pearl Shop subject re-costumes. No shame, but I would spend a lot more money on cosmetics if they had a wider selection. Not just new ones with cool effects like Millen Fedora, but old classic costumes for new classes, specifically Atanis and Kavaro for DK, Lawn Archer, Striker, etc. More options for costumes would mean more demand, allowing whales incentive to swipe more and line PA's pockets. Win-win.
Yeah. More costumes would be great.
Yep. Shadow's Army says, really enjoyed the class tier list. It's nice to hear the reasoning. Appreciate it, brother. Glad you listened to the whole thing. Apparently that's a rarity. Carlos Valencia says, always love the podcast. Don't let people get to you. A majority of people on the internet are generally uneducated about most things and act on emotion. Frosty, stop re-rolling.
I can't. Actually, I'm going to. My goal, even if I do like Sork more than Ninja, my goal is to stay on Ninja until Succession is officially live on our server.
Yeah.
And then I'll go back to re-rolling it.
That's not going to happen, but okay.
You don't think I'll be able to stay till... Well, I guess it depends. If it ends up not coming out this year, then yeah.
It's not coming out this year, brother. I hate to break it to you.
Hey, man, they announced the Valk one. We didn't talk about it today. We'll talk about it next time. But I don't know. They said their goal was by the end of summer. So if they're even 2 months late on that, like by Christmas,
I just don't think there's any way, unless they release it in bits, which would be the worst fucking thing they could do.
Yeah,
but it wouldn't surprise me, honestly. Emino says, "Do you guys like bread?"
Yeah,
bread's.
For those who don't know, we did last week. We did a EU community night, daytime for Rezlar night. Yeah, and it actually was a ton of fun. There was like 8 to 10 people talking on Discord, a bunch of people in the BA, and we were dueling. And also, like, I hope all of you EU people know that if you came onto our server, I would clap the shit out of you. Okay, all of those losses were because of fucking latency. Every single one of them.
Every single one of them.
Every single one of them.
We also had like some big shots show up. Fucking what's his name? Denko, I think was his name.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the GM. Oh shit! What was the guild?
I'm joking.
No,
What
I
was
know.
it?
Fuck, I feel so
Fuck,
bad.
it was Oh my god, what was it? It's like right there on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember it.
It's not. It wasn't war. Wasn't
No.
enemy. Wasn't sovereign.
No.
It wasn't any of those. It was a
We
different
had a
one
bunch of
that is
Millennium
also a
people
strong
show
siege.
up, but he wasn't with them.
Oh yeah, we had some Millennium people. Yeah, he wasn't with them. Fuck, I'm sorry.
What
I'm
was
so
the
sorry.
guild's
Nico.
name? Oh no.
Is his tag? Is it in his
No,
on
I
his
don't think it
Discord
is.
somewhere? Would we
I don't
notice?
think it is.
Not even in his like little tags or
Hold on,
whatever.
let me see.
You know, like we have like Hex Crew and stuff on ours. Maybe
Dethrone.
Dethrone. There you go. Okay.
Dethrone. Yeah, I went to mutual servers and then looked what his name is in the official Cacao Games server. 5,000 IQ, dude.
There you go. Yeah. Dethrone. They're not recruiting though, are they? Huh? Aren't they like a small? They do like 50 people or 70 or
I
something.
don't know.
Are they one of the hard cap ones?
Denko, plug your guild in the comments.
Yeah. There you go.
Orokami says, love the podcast. It's helped me fill in the gaps of my knowledge since I took a break from the game due to IRL stuff. Came back to all these catch-up mechanics and loved how easy it was. Hearing others complain about how hard it is just makes me laugh. I almost always agree with Frosty's WK philosophies and find him saying what I'd tell my friends. Also, Rezlar, what the fuck was Clash doing in Alejandro Farm last night? We did not stand a chance. Orokami the Valkyrie.
What are double WK? What is that?
I don't know. WK.
W.
What could that stand for?
I don't know. I've not heard that term before.
I haven't either. I don't know what that stands for.
Uh,
What philosophies do
actually.
you have that you always talk about on the podcast? Let's see. Rezlar's stupid. Rezlar doesn't know what he's talking about. Rezlar sucks at his job. Rezlar can't speak. Rezlar says words incorrectly. And what else is there?
Yeah. I don't know. I yeah. We well-known philosophy.
Well known.
I don't know, but I you know, I tend to agree with myself as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Surprisingly. Also, Alejandro Farm, dude, that node was fun as fuck. So, yeah, I think I already talked to you in the Discord, but basically we're on T1s just fucking around while we're waiting to transfer GM. So yeah, we're just kind of like having fun on T1s. Unfortunately, T1s is in this weird place where it's this refuge for guilds that are tired of getting shit on by siege guilds and T2s. But it's also the place where like smaller guilds are like trying to get into Node Wars. So essentially, because Siege Wars are pushing us out of T2s, we're pushing T1 guilds out of T1s. And it kind of does feel bad, and I don't think we're going to be here much longer. Once we pass GM, I believe we're jumping straight back to T2s. But yeah, we end up killing people who aren't at gear cap, which is something important to remember, by the way. Have some people in my guild while we've been on T1s talking about how it's always an equal fight because there's a gear cap and we have low numbers and like we're only doing like 25 mans and we're pulling like 15 or something. And it's like, okay, but you have to realize that these are tier 1s and not everyone is going to be gear capped like us. Like that's a very important thing to remember. So don't be talking shit thinking it's such an equal fight, because while it's more equal than a T2 would be for say, it's still not perfect. It's not like it's gear match. So keep that in mind, T1 people. Nyashi says C for crippled.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I was gonna say C for crybaby. Your class is bust.
Young Foxy, Dark Skies, and Aces Over Easy all say variations of Snurdle Win. Snurdo Win, Sneedle Win, and then Snurdle Win without the H.
Yeah. You know, I'm practicing against some good archers, so that way I can beat you, Snurdle, on my ninja. I'm still so bad against Archer.
I don't know what more I can do. I gave Snurtle an opportunity to come on the podcast, and he choked.
What happened?
Yeah, at the King of the Hill that we did. I told him, I was like, if you clear this entire King of the Hill, then I'll bring you on the podcast as a guest. And he cleared the entire thing, except he lost to you on your ninja at the very end. He choked.
I didn't even know that was in play.
I
That's
messaged you. You didn't see that?
I've had you blocked for a few weeks.
Yeah, I see how it is. Yeah, I messaged you telling you, I was like, hey, by the way, don't let this guy fucking beat you, otherwise we have to have him on the podcast. Luckily, you clutched it, so that was good.
Yeah, if I'd known, I probably would have choked. Honestly.
Yeah, dude, Jordan choked, so I mean that's his fault, not mine. I offered him, a way. I offered him a path forward, and he tripped and fell off the road. So that's all I can do. I can lead a horse to water. I can't make him drink.
Yeah.
But that's it for the comments. That's everything. Thanks everybody for leaving a comment again. Drop one on this one as well. We appreciate everybody who leaves a comment telling us your thoughts on the shit that we talk about. Even if you disagree with us, listen, you can disagree. I want to make very clear, because I said some very harsh things throughout this entire podcast. You can disagree. There's absolutely nothing wrong with disagreements. There's nothing wrong with having your own opinion and that opinion differing from other people's opinion. What is not okay is the animosity and the belittling of other people having different opinions. Like, I think that we should be able to talk about things in a way that is respectful, even if we have disagreements, even if we have very serious disagreements. If I think that, Berserker is overrated, which I do, and I think Berserker is actually, the things that make Berserker strong in large scale make it not very fun, which I do, and you think that, blasting people with your ultimate is the most fun thing in the world, and Berserker is the most OP class, even though those are two very different positions, we can still be respectful and, say, we just agree to disagree. So, at the end of the day, I just want to stress, having a different opinion is fine. Being a dickhead isn't. So, just keep that in mind. So, drop a comment letting us know your thoughts on the shit we talked about. Frosty, you got anything before we take off here?
No, thank you so much, Jeffythewise, for coming on. Super informative. Again, all of his stuff will be linked in the YouTube video. Leave a comment, like, share, subscribe, add us, talk to us in Discord, join the Discord. Also, share the podcast is the big thing. Post it in your guild's Discords whenever it's out or you see the video or whatever. I am still pending iTunes. One day. We'll see what.
We also, I also wanted to bring up, we're over now 900 subscribers on the YouTube channel, which is awesome. And we'll come up with something for 1,000 subscriber special. I don't know what it'll be, but I'll think of something and Frosty will clear it, and then I'll do it.
Yeah. Cool.
So, thanks everybody for supporting the podcast. Have a good one. We'll catch you next week.
I am